Welcome to the Roar Room, truth on the mic. Healing the soul, we rise and ignite. Mind, body, spirit aligned in the flame. Roar Room tribe, we roar in our name.
Welcome. How's everybody doing tonight? Epstein class strikes again. Welcome to the War Room. It's 5/20/2026. Come on. How's everybody doing?
We're good. We're a little early for everybody.
All right. Way early. So let's go ahead and start the show.
Yeah.
A lot of people jump on later anyway. So we're doing a surprise 6:30 check in. How's everybody doing? Go. Here we go. Want everybody talk at once?
Oh, me?
Anybody, anybody, everybody's. I feel like I just got thrown on the stage and nobody's ready to perform. Let's get party started.
Okay.
Let's get this party started. Allocator Alcatraz could shut down in less than a month. This Florida awaits federal reimbursement. Right. So Florida is preparing to shut down the controversial immigrant detention center known as Alligator Alcatraz in less than a month. So all that money they spent on nothing that they could have spent on the people, the homeless people in Florida. They could have set up shelters, got them all taken care of and on their journey.
Yeah,
No, let's just dump $1 billion into some tents and let's make a big ruckus about it. Remember they were selling shirts, the alligator Alcatraz shirts.
they sure were.
Oh, I bet those shirts are probably
And
50% off now.
I posted about the conditions in those facilities that are really bad.
Yeah. So as the state awaits federal reimbursement for the project, one environmental organization suing to close the facility claims the state sought far more federal money than previously disclosed. Man, that was a money laundering scheme, wasn't it? And they used the people's fear of immigrants. And then people cheered it on. They were ready to feed people to alligators. MAGA was ready to feed people to alligators. And they laughed about it. Now your alligator Alcatraz shirts are 50% off. You better get them while they're hot. And all that gear that you bought with the alligator Alcatraz hats, and you backed it. And all they did was siphon money out of your pockets, guys. That's it. Problem, reaction, solution. All right.
Yeah.
So as the state awaits federal reimbursement for the project, one environmental, okay, we already read that. Friends of the Everglades, a South Florida-based environmental group, claims the DeSantis administration originally estimated the project would cost more than $1 billion. Wow, kind of like the ballroom.
Yes.
It went from the ballroom,
Which is
this
not a ballroom.
the ballroom. No, it's not a ballroom.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, it's something else going on under there.
What did he say? It was
6 stories deep.
6 stories deep already.
6 stories.
We just need one of them to put their little pinky in their mouth and be like, $1 billion.
Yeah,
Bunker. That is a
Dr. Evil.
And Dr. Evil has a tattoo of P. Diddy on his butt. I've seen it.
Oh, no. Yep. So estimated the project would cost more than $1 billion. The detention facility located in the Florida Everglades operated for approximately 9 months and housed roughly only 1,400 detainees at its peak. The Obama administration did 2 million immigrants. Trump ran on deporting everybody, and he only get 1,400. But yet they need billions of dollars. So what we're doing is we're pumping all this money into all these things, even at the border, and nothing's going on, right? But yet, meanwhile, the American people we're going through with the gas prices, the housing market is fixing to collapse, right? Homelessness is now illegal, right? There's nothing in place for these people whenever everything collapses, right? With the mortgages, just like 2008, because we spent all of our money on dumb shit. And then they spent $1 billion, and then they only got was tenths. So, and they did this on the Everglades. What's going on with my phone? Turn that off. So Eve Samples of Friends of the Everglades alleges the state spending plans greatly exceeds to $608 million. Damn, that's a hell of a party, ain't it? Think about it, that's a lot of money. I don't think people realize how much money this was to do nothing.
Well, they throw these dollar amounts around like
So often
prescriptions.
that it
But,
just,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like prescriptions.
People can't even fathom what that really means, how much
Right.
money that really is. Like, how
Right.
did you blow $608 million in less than a year? Like, you would have to spend $5 or $10 million a day
No.
just to catch up. I mean, a day. Can you imagine having a party and you got 5 million to spend every day on whatever you want? Right.
No.
So 600 million. So 608 million Florida publicly requested last year federal reimbursement funds. 1.4 billion was the original estimate for this project, kind of like uh, the ballroom, right? It was estimated at 200 million, then it went to 300, then it went to 400. Then Trump said he doubled the size of the ballroom, so now he needs $1 billion. While Americans struggle to make ends meet and they're getting raped at the gas pump, right? So much winning, you're gonna get tired of winning, right? I remember that. I remember this.
To win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. To win with every single.
Yeah, I remember that propaganda. I don't think he was talking about us. I think he was talking about his homies in Israel.
How many times do we all make excuses about him throwing those sixes like that? Oh no, no, we made so many excuses for that kind of stuff.
That's hand signals is one thing. I mean, yeah, that's so here we got scroll down here and it says so much winning. So much winning. Here we go. It's my asshole hurts from all this winning. Right
Oh
here.
my goodness.
Yeah, look at that winning.
Oh.
Winning.
Oh.
Hey, this is so Iran doesn't get a nuke. All right. If you repeat the lie that enough, people start believing it and it becomes true. So short-term pain, long-term gain. We have to do this so Iran doesn't get a nuke. And if you don't support this, that means you want Iran to have a nuke. Like, no, I'm getting raped at the gas pump. You said no new wars, no regime change. What happened? Oh, that's right. You invested in the wars and the cryptocurrency and everything that you said you were called a scam and was against, right? And then you wonder why people are pissed off. So people's assholes hurts from all the winning, right? This one guy said he has a 22-gallon truck. It's $4.40 here. Winning. Oh, yeah.
Kvetching.
Oh, yeah. Huh?
Kvetching. Oh, kvetching.
Well, I mean, we just dedicated the country back to God. Well, how come the gas prices didn't go down? How come the food wasn't cleaned up? How come they're still spraying chemtrails?
It's the wrong God.
Oh, okay. I just checking. I was like, wow, we're still eating poison at the fucking food markets, guys. Hell, Trump didn't even go to his own faith event. He went golfing.
I saw a video the other day that said that dogs won't even eat our fruits anymore. They're like, no, man, thanks.
You want to know if you got good fruit? Go stick it outside and let the ants eat it. If the ants don't get it, then you don't buy it no more.
Yeah, then you know something's wrong with it.
Take your grapes, stick them outside. Take your whatever you eat, take one sample, stick it outside. If it sits there and it stays there for days on end and no bugs eat it, you know what time it is.
Oh God, this is ridiculous.
It is.
But hey, we've rededicated the country back to God, so everything's going to be healed here pretty soon after we get done sending all of our money and dying for Israel the war in Iran. They're talking about doing a draft as well. That's what they're leading up to going into August. Oh, right, somewhere towards getting towards the midterms. Right, it needs something with the midterms to take place. Also, Trump is okay with stolen elections, rigged elections, and ballots. So he can no longer cry about 2020 being rigged when he himself allowed the rigging of what we just seen take place last night and in other elections previous to that. Machines haven't been changed. The ballots are still being used. They dumped 10,000 ballots at Kentucky, allegedly. So, yeah.
They just played that out to the very end. They milked that for that. That was good marketing for him because he got 3 terms, plus he's going for another one. So they milked that.
Well,
they got it. Like, there's just so long a psyop can last, I would think, before you just want to shoot it in the head yourself. Like, enough with this one.
Put it out of its mercy. I think Trump said he wants to be prime minister in Israel when he gets done here because he says his approval rating in Israel is 99%.
It should be.
So who you serve? Why does the president of the United States worried about his approval rating in another country? Oh, because he serves that country.
Yeah, it should be 99%.
Because Donald J. Trump, and the J stands for Jewish. Right? What? You gotta smoke them, man. You gotta smoke them.
Everybody else has
no mercy.
Yet, so
no mercy on the Epstein class. No mercy on the Epstein class. They want to rig and steal elections and send 20, 30 million into a small town and then put in the most least. Nobody even know who Special Ed was last year, but he wins an election this year. Make it make sense, guys. So, yeah, Donald J. Trump, and the J stands for Jewish. That's where we're at, guys.
Oh God, boy, babe. Hey, oh God, boy, babe. All lies down in everything you say. DJ, what the heck you were supposed to say today, but you blew it. He's Donald J. Trump, and the J is for Jewish. Starting wars that have threatened our troops. Fell in love with his butt, but in Netanyahu. Guess you never stop Jews when they put their minds to it. He's Donald J. Trump, and the J is for Jewish. Donnie the imposter, blame it on the quarterback and threw away the roster. Making all the miling trips, you must think you a roster. Started out with MAGA, now it's turning into Mazda. Dancing for them dollars, stripping down for Gaza. All them empty promises, think he worse than the Schwarzer. Oops, I'm in Obama. Yeah, Barack was strange, but the Donald and his owners want a different type of change. Dreidel, they gon' mold him like he clay. While they spinning it back in our face. Let us pray. Oh God, boy, babe. All lies down in everything you say. DJ, what the heck you were supposed to say today, but you blew it. He's Donald J. Trump, and the J is for Jewish. Starting wars that have been our troops. Fell in love with his butt, but in Netanyahu. Guess you never stop Jews when they put their minds to it. He's Donald J. Trump, and the J is for Jewish. All of these mistakes he made, I had to make a list. Yeah, never mind, I realized that the list does not exist. Okay, cool, everyone chill, back in position. Jews in the kitchen is only tradition. The money that's missing is part of the mission. We in a transition, so work on your Yiddish. We'll keep all the immigrants just like the British. Got the commissioner gassing me up, I just make sure to put back the pump when I'm finished. Put out the tapes and they missing a minute. I'm sorry, Joe Rogan, I promise I'm different. I'm just an apprentice, despite all my riches. I guess I'm just any other politician. Dreidel, they gon' mold him like he play. While they spinning it back in our face. Let us pray. Oh God, boy, babe. All lies down in everything you say. DJ, what the heck you were supposed to say today, but you blew it. He's Donald J. Trump, and the J is for Jewish. Starting wars that have been our troops. Fell in love with his butt,
Oh,
Shabbat shalom, daddy's home. So when Trump gets done here, he's going to go to Israel, be prime minister, which totally recommend that you go home and serve in the country that he sold us out to. Please do that. If there's anything left, all right, you already took out the pallet. So I guess that all the stuff they're going to build in Gaza with him and his son-in-law,
Kushner.
Kushner, right? I guess he'll move over there when he gets the move. So that'll be his new, what'll it be, Israel-Lago? Well, they already got, what is it, Trump
Well, he
Heights?
showed
They
you.
already got a town named after him in Israel. It's called Trump Heights. So I think most of MIGA will move over there. I think that's probably when they'll do the great, when they all migrate over there. Maybe they'll take everybody with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can take everybody, all these Israel first clowns with them.
everything has to happen twice.
Yeah. So this isn't a left-right thing. So AIPAC endorsed also all the Democratic candidates as well. So they have won all their primary races as well on the left. And now we witnessed in the right. So it's a uniparty, guys. So it doesn't look like anybody that's going to make any kind of JFK-like changes is going to be able to allow to exist in a bunch of in
No,
a compromise.
we've been compromised by a foreign country. Okay, so you cannot fix that within there. We have a remedy, which is Article 5, Constitution. There's things we can do without Congress.
So both parties are or corrupted, and both parties are occupied. So you cannot vote your way out of this. Or you can click off here if you want. I see a couple people. You can click off here and go tune into Fox and CNN if you want. If you don't like what I'm talking about,
But
that's
they-
fine.
It's just a lullaby. That's just putting a lullaby.
Yeah.
It's a lullaby for them. So
Yeah.
they either have to stand up now or freaking lay down for whatever's to come.
Cowards don't want to stand up, right? They look for every excuse not to do anything. Well, they look for it. If they're scared, if they see it, then they have to do something to make a change, and they're just not in them. They just want to keep voting because voting is their voice.
But it's not. and what what happened with Massey clearly showed you.
They're eating
Clearly
kids,
showed you.
right? So they're eating kids, and you guys are still talking about voting. Chris Hughes put this on Facebook. I'll screenshot it. Shout out to Chris Hughes. So we got the Epstein, saving the Epstein clients. So people like this, right? Remember this? Thomas Massey introduced a bill that would force AIPAC to register as a foreign agent. And boom.
Which was what Kennedy wanted to do.
Right.
That's what Kennedy wanted to do. He warned about that. And that's what Massey was trying to do. So y'all want to, everyone will love Kennedy and all this Kennedy everything, but no one's listening to what he said.
No, what happened is a bunch of Christian and Jewish Zionists grabbed a hold of the Q psyop and ran with it. And then I see it. I'm like, how are you pro AIPAC and pro Israel, but you're a Q person? Like in JFK, I don't get it. You don't know who JFK is, or you're just infiltrated the Q movement to get people to sway people's opinion to keep supporting Israel.
That's it.
That's it. So your Q psyops people, you need to check them, right? See what where they stand. Stop following people blindly that post JFK pictures all day and all that shit. But at the same time, they're voting for members of AIPAC. It doesn't make any sense, right?
No, they want the system to stay the same. There is a remedy. The forefathers told us this was going to happen.
Yeah.
They knew this was going to happen.
And we're going to get into that. Yeah.
It can't stay the same because
No.
It's coming to an end. So you either face it now or you have the whole house fall down on you. I'd rather have a couple of bricks once in a while, be like, oh shit, I knew it. But you've got to take this as in the steps. Like you were woken up for this for a reason, and you have to keep graduating every day, learning something and standing up. And it's not something you can just put away until later. This later is going to really come down on a lot of people that think that they're good. I'm good. I know.
You're
Oh,
gonna
you don't know.
feel it. If you haven't felt it yet, it's going to come to your door.
The Democrats are feeling it. The left is waking up big time. I'll tell you all that right now.
So be the one standing
So-
for something.
As soon as the right wakes up, which I think took place last night, we went through another shift in consciousness. People were waking up to the fact that you can't vote your way out of a rigged system.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's when they just said the Massey thing split, split again, right? You keep splitting, 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 right? And it showed you, right? I don't know if Massey was a controlled opposition. I don't know if he was trying to still really try to do something, but showed you can't do it in there. It's just, it's bought and paid for.
Yes,
Trump said we were we were the elections were stolen by foreign powers.
but look at the
right?
executive order, foreign
But he was
interference,
telling you, it's rigged.
and you keep participating in it, right?
And he is part of the establishment.
So we're going to cover.
They're all a part of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, that Luna woman, all of them. They're all in it. There's no doubt about it. It's just like it's a show. Everybody can recite this. It's the shit show, but nobody really gets it through their brains that it's the show. Like all of them. It's not. It's like not. Just because Sue Ellen murdered JR or whatever, it doesn't mean that. It's like, we got to get out of this 8 p.m. lineup kind of mentality.
That's right. And I mean, Massey's the kind of, you can look at it as that's this kind of thing we would want, right? Somebody that's with the people, cares about the people just like us. But, you know, they all kind of do that. Didn't Trump do that too?
Yeah, and that's supposed to be a regular person, like one of us, going in there and being like that. Like he's kind of showing how we should be going in, like somebody that's not signed up with the devil, you know.
That's right.
So, crowd burst into laughter at Trump's latest attempt to claim 2020 election was rigged, but yet he allowed what just took place last night to take place. So, therefore, his arguments and his cries will not be heard anymore because all of it's rigged. He literally has to come out and say 2024. He literally has to come out and say, okay, 2020, 2022, 2024, 2026, and then we're going to be in 2020. You see it every 2 years, boom, 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 APAC. All APAC influence, bought and paid for politicians are winning. It doesn't matter who. So basically, your vote does not count. Stop voting. It doesn't count. When your elections can be bought by APAC, your vote doesn't count. Stop voting. Oh.
Well,
for corrupt politicians.
Think about it. Think about what
for corrupt politicians. If they're bought and paid for by APAC, don't go push the lever for them and expect change in America. Right?
Right.
Right. So I posted pictures up of who is this? Miriam Adelson, right? Somebody had the nerve to ask me who that was. Like, what planet are you on? Or they said, what are you trying to say, sheepdog? I said, you don't know who that is? Because I like to just post pictures with no caption. Of just a group photos of a bunch of different people, put them all in one thing and then scramble the, like, it bakes people's minds. They want you to tell them what you're trying to say.
Yeah, people want everything spelled out. That's why I don't do it. I'll post a TikTok video. I won't describe it. The right people will see it, and that's how it's going to go. I'm not holding your hand. I'm not holding anybody's hand in this.
Yeah, no more. Look into things. We've had years and years of going over this, going over this, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, here's the guy that won allegedly. I think Thomas Massey still has like 7 months left to wreak havoc.
Yeah, 7 months.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun watching people squirm for the next 7 months, praying that special ed gets in there quicker than January, which is not going to happen. So it'll be next year by the time special ed gets in there. So hang in there, Kentucky.
Mr. President, we stand with you. Fight, fight, fight!
Fight, fight, fight! Nobody even knows who Ed is. Nobody knows who special ed is. Last year, before he came up on stage, nobody knew who it was. He's a never Trumper, first off, of course, right? You know, Trump's got to endorse the guys that don't like him. As soon as Trump got in there, he bounced out of the Republican Party. Something to that effect. I have to get his background, but yeah, he does not like Trump. But he has to like Trump now, doesn't he? Why is that? Why is Miriam Edison? Why did they dump $30 million into Kentucky? What is it about Ed that they have to have in there? He'll go along with whatever they tell him to do. They got some blackmail on him or something.
Well, I posted about him being the Sultan 6, and during the time frame of when he was in. Hold on, let me find it.
Mr. President, we stand with you. Fight, fight, fight! USA! USA!
Yes, the 70-year-old sock puppet with the personality of a wet paper towel. That's who everybody rallied behind. Okay.
Right. So we showed the difference. We showed Thomas Massey's gathering, thousands of people, and then they showed Ed's gathering whenever they announced he won, and it was like a coffee shop with 10 people in it.
Okay, so this is what I found. Oh, do you gonna play that?
Yeah.
For the United States of America last night, as we have learned that democracy is dead. Now, it probably has been in the United States for a long time, honestly, but we found this out last night objectively when we learned that, yes, billionaires from a foreign country can literally walk in, purchase congressional seats brazenly right in front of everybody's face, and the American people can't do a thing about it, which means, yes, voting does nothing, and that being the cornerstone of democracy lets us know that democracy no longer exists in this country. We are officially a full-scale oligarchy, and we should probably all understand that moving forward, because this is obviously going to have massive downwind effects on this country, and especially going into the midterms.
Yeah, midterms. Lindsey Graham will win. All the people that that MAGA or that the Republicans don't like, Lindsey Graham's going to win.
Well, think about it.
But nobody's voting
If
for
they
him.
get in, they're protected. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, see this. We'll play that and then I'll read this.
You heard that? So they're holding their positions because they know as soon as they come out of there, they're getting charged.
Yeah.
Especially Lady G. You know Lady G did some dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
You know Lady G did some dumb shit, right? But as long as Lady G stays in Congress, Lady G can't be charged.
So we're going to take a look at this election last night as well, because now that all the numbers are in, the math is looking a little sketchy. And then we'll talk about what this means for, get some reactions from the internet and see what everybody is talking about today, because yeah, Americans are really pissed off today. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch. Okay, let's jump into it. Obviously, we should know the election I'm talking about, and that is the election between TM, and I'll explain why I'm not going to use his name in the video here in a second, against a bunch of billionaires from our greatest ally. Now, what I and a bunch of creators have learned over the last week is if you use his name, it's getting flagged by the algorithm.
All right, first off, to MAGA that's watching, if there's anybody out there, because they're on my Facebook, for some reason, they don't know who this lady is. I guess because it's not on the Fox News or something. I don't know. You need to know who this lady is. All right. In order to understand this big ass picture of what we're seeing here. If you just got your head stuck up your ass, you don't want to do no research, that's fine. But don't ask me, what are you trying to say, sheepdog, when I post pictures of Miriam Addison on Facebook? Come on, guys. Come on now.
I and a bunch of creators have learned over the last week is if you use his name, it's getting flagged by the algorithm. If you do anything positive on him, they will limit and shadow ban your videos. And I'll show you the numbers for that here in the video. First thing we got to look at is, why did he lose, and why was there nearly $35 million, all literally like 98% of which came from the Our Greatest Ally lobby? Why did they want him out so bad? Well, James Lee breaks it down.
I'm sure you've all heard by now that Thomas Massey has lost his election to the Israeli lobby, who spent $30 million to unseat him. Why? Because A, he fought to release the Epstein files, and B, he said no more wars for Israel. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, it sucks. This is not the ideal outcome that we were looking for. And be quite honest with you, I'm probably gonna need a couple days to figure out what I'm going to do next, if I need to change anything, because what's been made clear to me is what I'm doing right now is obviously not working. But the one thing we know for sure now is that we are definitely not voting our way out of this.
All right, so what is it all about? Okay.
All right, we're not voting our way out of this.
Right.
But there is solutions.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to talk about, because there is a path.
So Ed Gallerin, he was a service record operational and legal assessment.
Hey, you're muted.
There we go. Go start over.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Ed Gallerin served in the United States Navy from 1984 to 2014, retiring as a captain 0 through 6. He's a confirmed Navy SEAL officer with assignments in naval special warfare and service at Little Creek Naval Amphibious Base.
In Virginia. Yeah.
His awards include 3 Bronze Stars, Combat Action Ribbons, and Combat Parachute Badge. A documented discrepancy exists in his public statement when he claimed that he had 4 Bronze Stars, while official records confirm 3. Gallerin's military timeline places him directly within the period of major U.S. operations such as Operation Just Cause in Panama, 1989, and the Gulf War Persian Gulf operations, 1990s through the 2000s. Based on standard Navy career progressions, he would likely have been a junior officer in sign or lieutenant junior grade during the Panama invasion and lieutenant or lieutenant commander during the Gulf War. His campaign references 2 deployments from Panama to Persia make participation in these theaters highly plausible through specific assignments cannot be verified due to the classification of special operations records. Claims of service with SEAL Team 6 under DEVGRU cannot be confirmed or disproved for the same reason. During this period, DEVGRU's mission profile typically included counter-terrorism raids, hostage rescue, high-value target operations, covert reconnaissance, maritime interdiction, and pre-envisioned strategic actions in support of larger U.S. military campaigns. Operation Just Cause functioned as a regime change mission, resulting in removal of Manuel Noriega and installation of a U.S.-aligned government. Civilian casualties estimated range from several hundred or to several thousand, depending on the source. Human rights organizations and several governments, including Mexico, Spain, and Argentina, and members of the non-aligned movement, criticized the invasion as a violation of sovereignty and international norms. Some human rights groups describe aspects of the operation as potential war crimes, citing disappropriation, force, and unjust civil deaths. The Gulf War and subsequent Persian Gulf operations were undertaken to expel Iraq forces from Kuwait, protected Saudi Arabia, and maintained regional stability. Although framed as a response to Iraq's aggression, oil and energy security consideration were central strategic factors. Civilian casualties from bombing campaigns and the long-term humanitarian impact of sanctions led to criticism from Jordan, Yemen, Sudan, Libya, segments of the Arab League, and governments such as Russia and China. Various human rights organizations describe certain actions, particularly infrastructure destruction, and sanctions-related deaths, as potential war crimes and violations of international humanitarian law. Under the modern Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ, war crimes such as unlawful targeting of civilians, disappropriation used of force, and violations of the laws of armed conflict carry no statute of limitations. In principle, individuals involved in planning or executing unlawful actions during these operations could still be charged today if evidence demonstrates intentional or reckless violations of laws of war. In practice, such prosecutions are extremely unlikely, as the United States has historically not pursued criminal charges against senior decision makers for wartime policy decisions, and no U.S. personnel were charged at the time. An upcoming Supreme Court case involving a Chinese citizen tortured by their own government using technologies supplied by the United States introduces a new legal dimension. This case centers on whether U.S. entities or officials can be held liable when U.S. origin technology is used by foreign governments to commit human rights abuses. If the case rules that the U.S. actors may be held responsible for facilitating or enabling abuse committed abroad, the decision could expand the scope of liability under the U.S. law for actions previously considered beyond domestic jurisdiction. Such a ruling would not automatically reopen cases related to Panama or the Gulf War, but it could establish a precedent that U.S. involvement in foreign operations or support to foreign governments may trigger legal accountability even decades later if the conduct is found to contribute to unlawful harm. So I'm just saying, are these people being put in there under protection because they're in office?
Yeah, like Trump, he's in office, therefore he's protected. So with all the stuff that they have on him, they can't get it because he's the president. So
Right.
as long as he stays in there. But now the DOJ is talking about, I think Todd Blanche is his personal attorney, the head of the DOJ. But anyways, so they get into office to like Lindsey Graham. That's why they die in office. That's why I'm thinking they die in office is so they can't be prosecuted. Think about it. Look at them.
Right.
Humor all of them.
I mean,
Look at
all
them. They're
these
falling.
countries-
They're falling down in Congress. They're literally walking around in walkers and
Think
and
about it.
wheelchairs.
All these countries have have said all the war crimes we have done, right? And remember when we talked about the UCMJ that may come into play? Some of those high-ranking people that made decisions that maybe
Article
shouldn't have,
92.
that could come into play if the Supreme Court case
Maybe.
goes through, even though the Supreme case is unrelated, it sets precedents for that type of case to go through.
All right. So quite a year for Israel. They bought TikTok and censored. They buy CBS and then censor. Buy CNN and censor. Buy influencers. Charlie Kirk gets killed. TPUSA becomes more Israel. Geofencing churches. 1,000 pastors become Israel ambassadors. But those 1,000 pastors that became Israel ambassadors, if you go look into their church size, they have like 20 people in the church. So it really doesn't. They sold out for what? I don't know, but replace Smart Agreement with pro-Israel and replace Massey with pro-Israel. Here's AIPAC sending out which AIPAC owns the United States of corporation, because the United States is not a country, it's a business, it's a corporation. That's who AIPAC runs. Right, I know, that's why you see all this the way it is. Most people have to wake up to that fact. So Ed Galleron's victory in Kentucky and Clay Fuller's win in Georgia ensures two outspoken pro-Israel voices. Plus, don't forget the 111 Democrat people that were funded by AIPAC as well. So it's a left-right thing, party they're having, right? They're the unit party. They're both funded by the AIPAC. So there you go. That's from AIPAC.
If this movie has to go through every person that's a villain, this will be forever. I mean, it can't be like that. It's gotta.
Maybe what's that movie where Russia comes in and parachutes in?
Hey, come
One
on.
for Red October or something.
Red October, is that what it was?
I'm
just saying. But yeah, here's how we can do this.
Go ahead.
Article 5, how the people in the states can use it even if the federal government is compromised. What Article 5 actually says, Article 5 provides two ways to amend the Constitution. Congress proposes amendments, 2/3 of both chambers purpose, 3/4 of states ratify. This path is useless if Congress is compromised. So path 2, states force a convention. This is the emergency bypass. If 34 state legislators apply for a convention, Congress must call it. Congress cannot block, rewrite, delay, or interfere. This is the constitutional escape hatch. The founders built for the exact scenario. Why the founders created the Convention of States option? George Mason refused to sign the Constitution until this was added. His reasoning: Congress will never purpose amendments that limit their own power. He insisted the states must have a way to fix the federal government without Congress permission. This is the constitutional remedy when Congress is corrupt, Congress is influenced by foreign powers, Congress refuses to act, Congress is gridlocked. The states, and by extension, the people, can bypass Washington entirely. What a convention of states can do, a convention of states can purpose amendments on any topic the states agree on, including foreign influence bans, term limits, campaign finance restrictions, election integrity reforms, anti-corruption rules, balanced budget limiting federal agencies, transparency requirements. Congress has zero authority over the content of these amendments, but 38 states must ratify any amendments. So we just need 38 states. This prevents extreme or dangerous changes. Okay, so this is part of the most, step one, a state legislator passes an Article 5 application. This is a simple resolution. It does not require the governor's signature. It must specify the topics the convention will address. Examples: foreign influence and corruption, term limits, balanced budget, election integrity. 33 more states pass similar applications. They must be on the same general topic. Once 34 states apply, Congress is constitutionally required to call the convention. Congress cannot veto, delay, or modify or interfere. The role is purely administrative. States choose delegates. Each state decides how many delegates show they are chosen, how they are instructed. Congress has no authority over delegates. The convention meets. Delegates debate and purpose amendments. Each amendment requires a majority of the states, not delegates, to approve. Step 6, ratification. Any purpose amendment must be ratified by 38 states. This is the safety valve that prevents radical outcomes. 5, if the government is compromised by a foreign power? States can call an Article 5 convention without Congress's permission. Congress cannot stop it. This is the primary constitutional remedy for a compromised federal government. States can sue the federal government. State attorney generals can bring lawsuits over foreign influence, unconstitutional laws, election violations, and corruption. The courts are independent of Congress. The executive branch can investigate foreign influence. Even if Congress is compromised, the president, DOJ, FBI, and intelligence agents can investigate foreign interference. Citizens can use the courts. Right? So any citizen or group can file a lawsuit challenging unconstitutional actions, foreign influence, and corrupt practices. Courts do not answer to Congress. States control elections, not Congress. States can audit, secure, form, and investigate. Even if Congress is compromised, states still run elections. Peaceful mass civil movements. Every major reform in U.S. history came from the people. Civil rights, women's suffrage, anti-corruption reforms, and labor protections. Public pressure forces change. You cannot use force to fix the government.
No.
That would be unconstitutional and destructive. The founding fathers gave us legal remedies, not violent ones. So your state can start this process. Contact your state representative and state senator. Ask them to introduce a support an Article 5 application. Organize local groups to pressure the legislator. Testify at the committee hearings. Coordinate with national Article 5 organizations. Push for a resolution focused on foreign influence, corruption, election integrity, and term limits. Texas has already passed some Article 5 resolution. It is one of the leading states.
It's not complicated. A, Thomas Massie is the reason why the Epstein files got released. B, he's calling for things like this. Okay, we got this one. TM introduces bill that would force you-know-who to register as a foreign agent. JFK tried that too. We all know what happened. And again, you'll see I'm going to be very coded in this video because you are not allowed to talk about the things we're talking about in this video. And again, this one, we should end all U.S. military aid to our greatest ally. All right, so those are the two big ones, right? We know Donald Trump is a PDF. We know he's covering up for his PDF buddies. That's why he hates TM and wanted to remove him from his seat. Obviously, that's not a secret. We all know that. Two, cutting off all aid to our greatest ally. And that's why they dumped nearly $35 million into unseating him, all coming from, again, our greatest ally billionaires, who just happen to also all be in those files. So what does this mean? The money printer stays on to our greatest ally, and none of the rest of those 3.5 million files will ever see the light of day now that TM is out. And if you're
There we go.
an American who thinks that's a good thing, you're a fucking idiot. Let's just call it what it is. All right, but first we got to talk about the numbers. A lot of people already saying that this.
All right, so we're talking about the numbers. Let's go to the next thing here. We're going to go into they're not saving America, they're killing it. Right? So you got the cult on the left, and then you got the cult on the right, and then here we are stuck in the middle with you.
KBB said, can we do verbal communication, no paperwork, just speak it? Have a note taker of the records. Yeah, you could do that, but you still have to file the application. Your representative has to file the application. It has to be done within the bounds of the Constitution, so we still have to do something. And it has to go through the proper chains, right?
Evil has turned into good, and good into evil. That was a warning on the dangerous cults that always promise to protect and even save your country, but they're really the ones who kill it. Written almost 300 years ago by one of the writers who was incredibly influential on the American revolutionaries, it was so prophetic, it sounds like it was written today. So on this episode, it's the true enemy within, destroying freedom. But first of all, before getting to that, welcome. And thank you for joining me here on the path to liberty.
Go.
My name is Michael Bolden with the 10th Amendment Center.
Yeah,
And this
I'll share this video in the chat. Go click like and subscribe. Good channel. So they're not saving America, they're killing it. They're talking about the cult to the left and the cult to the right.
is the show for Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. And let's start out with the deadly disease, the thing that leads to all the other problems we're going to cover here today. Writing in 1744, Thomas Gordon, he observed that political parties destroy the meaning of right and wrong. And it starts out like this. He said, it is with measures as with men. They are praised or condemned, not because they're right or wrong, beneficial or hurtful, but because they come from this party or the other. And it doesn't matter what you do or say, it only matters what team you're on. He said the best actions are decried as the worst if they arise from one quarter. The worst actions adored as the best if from the other. And from that, opposing tyranny, opposing tyrants, that is seen as evil. It's flipped upside down. And rebelling against the Constitution, that's seen as a good thing. He said,
So y'all hear that? So everything, we're in an upside down world where good is evil and where good is called evil and evil is called good.
Good and good evil.
And he says right here, those.
And rebelling against the Constitution, that's seen as a good thing. He said the resisting of law.
So what we have is a government that's rebelling against the Constitution, and that's seen as a good thing. Right? And the people that try to fight tyranny are evil. Like it's opposite of what the country was founded on, right?
That opposing tyranny, opposing tyrants, that is seen as evil. It's flipped upside down. And rebelling against the Constitution, that's seen as a good thing. He said the resisting of lawless tyrants is at one time rebellion and damnation. To rebel against the most lawful authority is at another time duty and glory. And again, it doesn't matter how evil, how horrible a person might be. That is no problem as long as they're loyal to the team. He wrote, he who is a good party man is a good man. Let his conduct be ever so vile, his actions ever so wicked. On the contrary, let a man be ever so unblameable, his behavior ever so righteous and worthy. All this merit shall not avail him. Nay, with all this merit, it is odds, but he is reviled, ridiculed, and scorned. And that's because the priority is always the party. Everything else takes a back seat. He said party principles are therefore substituted for moral principles. The sure way to destroy all morality and to confound the characters of men and even those of good and evil. What's the result? Well, this shouldn't be a surprise. Morality, good, evil, truth, lies, they're all inverted, flipped totally upside down. He wrote, evil is turned into good and good into evil. Truth passes for falsehood. Falsehood is dressed up in the guise of truth. Now, Gordon didn't just observe the problem. He actually wrote about how people kind of fall into this trap, how they're seduced by these political parties. And before getting to that, you might be wondering, well, who the heck is Thomas Gordon? And just very quickly, he was the author with a guy named John Trenchard of a series of essays known as Cato's Letters. They were written and published in the early 1720s in England. They made their way across the ocean and were incredibly popular, incredibly influential on the American revolutionaries for decades. They were published and owned and in libraries all over the place. Now, these commentaries that I'm discussing in this episode here, commentaries about political parties and factions, they all come from his 1744 book, The Works of Sallust. This will be linked to in the show notes for this episode, 10thamendmentcenter.com/path to liberty. It's all spelled out. You will be able to download and read this book for free. Now, this is a translation that he did of the great Roman historian, this historian of the Roman Republic. He also added a lot of his own personal commentaries related to it to apply to things of his time and I guess to our time as well. And just a quick aside on Sallust, after he passed, some people just shortly after that, maybe in the century or so after that, they would often refer to him as the Roman Thucydides. Pretty important guy. But anyways, let's get back to how people are seduced by these political parties. How does it play out? And it really is all founded on a bunch of dishonesty, and it defies common sense. So the less common sense people have, the more devoted they tend to be to the party. He said sense and honesty.
Wow. So the less common sense people have, the more devoted they are to the party. But I keep hearing common sense. It's common. Trump and his administration, it's common sense to bomb Iran. It's common sense to send $50 billion to Israel. It's common sense to keep
right. He's going to tell
money.
you what common sense
Right.
is instead of you using your own
common sense.
And you can't use that unless you know about what's going on. And if you know how everything's supposed to work, if you know what the Constitution is, what the limits are, right?
Yep.
Checks and balances.
On a bunch of dishonesty, and it defies common sense. So the less common sense people have, the more devoted they tend to be to the party. He said sense and honesty are not required, nor anything else but zeal. And such zeal being generally blind, the less sense, the more zeal. And zeal is an atonement for the want of morality and every good quality. And if you think about it, these people who are super dedicated to a political party, right or wrong, not even thinking about right or wrong, is just my team right, other team wrong, no matter what, my guy good, their guy bad. They're kind of lacking some moral standards, and they're lacking some other important stuff like wisdom, because a lot of this really is just built on complete ignorance. He wrote, in the midst of the heats and zeal and divisions into which they are drawn, for this man against that, are they, and this is a question I think a lot of us probably ask today as we see this stuff play out in our own time, are they ever thoroughly apprised of the merits and source of the dispute? He said, are they masters of the real facts, sufficient for accusing one or for applauding another? Guess what? Nope. Scarce ever. And so instead of actually worrying about truth and kind of bothersome things like facts, they tend to just listen to whatever their team leader tells them to think. He wrote, what information they have generally from interested men, at best, quite partial and disguised, often utterly false and forged. And when you get down to it, other than being like a broken clock, these people tend to have no facts, no information at all, just slogans that they're given and then they regurgitate. He said, but the truth is, they have generally no information at all, but only a few cant words, such as will always serve to animate a mob. I mean, real simpleton kind of stuff like this. I am for John. He is our friend and very honest. I am against Thomas. He is our worst enemy and very wicked and deserves to be punished. But they can't even explain why they think these things, why they hate their opponents so much. They just know that they do. And he said, it is extremely strange and a great reflection upon rational beings that the majority, not just a small number, this isn't an exception. This is basically the rule. The majority in parties seldom know the reason why they thus hate and mortify one another. Bywords and sounds, names, persons, modes, and colors control and incense them. Like Neanderthals or apes, it always boils down to the simpleton statement of, well, my team good, their team bad. And Gordon continued with his example. He said, they love John. Why? Because he hates Thomas. And they do not love Thomas because he does not love John. Ask them why they thus love and hate these men more than other men. And the answer is that they are very good or very bad men. And what's the reason that they do this? These people, they're not just ignorant, weak, lacking in morality. Well, they're just really mindless puppets, willing to be controlled and manipulated and told what to do. And this is how Gordon put it. He said, ask them, how do they know? They will tell you that they have been told so. Who told them? Well, their leader or his creatures. That is, such who study to deceive them. Thus, both sides reason and seldom can reason better. They're all doing the same thing back and forth and back and forth. It's an endless cycle. And making things worse, this ignorance, it's easily manipulated by the people who have power or want to get power. And Gordon saw this as kind of a sorcery that takes hold of the people and completely controls them. He said there is sort of a witchcraft in party and in party cries, strangely wild and irresistible. One name charms and composes. Another name, not better nor worse, fires and alarms. And the predator class, the people with power, the politicians, we'll call them the deep state too. They exploit this ignorance and this willingness to fall in line and repeat whatever people tell them, well, whatever their team tells them to repeat. And one of their favorite tricks is to start bringing in scripture, the Bible, and twist the meaning of that. But we could also apply this to other important texts, like the Constitution. Here's how Gordon described it. To support such extremes, to reconcile such wild contradictions, the divine word is boldly called in and misapplied. The divine aid promised and invoked. And here's how they do it. Depending on the issue, depending on the day, depending on the person, the same text will support totally opposite end results. And they're happy to do it one day this meaning, the next day the next, and people can have whiplash and go back and forth. Those of us who aren't just mindless bots, we watch this with just complete amazement. We should be shocked, or maybe we feel shocked, but if we understand that this is how things have played out all through history, then maybe it isn't shocking. It's expected. It's disappointing, but expected. He said one scripture is made to justify one extravagant proposition today. Tomorrow, the same scripture or another scripture is forced to defend an opposite proposition and to destroy the former. And the supreme being is always supposed angry or pleased, just as factions are, adopting the foolish passions and partialities of parties, and shifting his passions and party as parties shift theirs. And again, you could easily see how they do the same kind of thing with other texts, even though he was describing this from scripture. And certainly we see this play out with the Constitution and the rules of the Constitution all day, every day. But Gordon didn't just blame the manipulators. He didn't just blame the politicians. The people who fall for this stuff have to bear some responsibility for being so dumb about it in the first place. He said, what I blame is they're swallowing current lies, believing misrepresentations and false characters, and thence bearing ill will to some who deserve it not, or entertaining extravagant fondness for others who deserve it as little. They take the same kind of approach with their comrades and their opponents. He said all parties have their follies and weak places, but the character of one party is rarely to be learned from the other. They make odious pictures of each other in their anger, for parties imply mutual wrath, and both sides are monsters in the opinion of each. And so what's the best defense? Never, ever, ever, ever trust what political parties say about their opposition. He said there is no reliance upon what parties say of one another to the praise of their friends or in detraction from their rivals. It is all satire or all praise. This, he said, is enough to show that it deserves no credit. And because so many people all through history have fallen for this kind of stuff, the worst tyrants are often praised as awesome, and the good guys, they get attacked as being evil. He said in most countries, they who blind and enslave the people are popular and reverenced. They who would enlighten and free them, hated and persecuted. But wait, there's still more, because it keeps getting worse. It's not just about loyalty to a party as a whole.
That's where it comes into the matrix. It says some of these people aren't ready to be unplugged. You are the enemy.
And you heard what he said.
Even though you're trying to free them.
There's one group trying to keep the establishment. There's one group trying to take it over. Right? That's how we got infiltrated from within to begin with. And we're going to let it happen again if we don't educate ourselves.
And we constantly hear from one party that the other party's demonic.
Always.
You notice that?
It's a game.
The Democrats. So you got the libtards and then you got the retards on the right. Libtards on the left, retards on the right, and here we are in the middle with you. I think that's a song. Joker's still left of me. Clowns on the right.
Yes.
Jokers and clowns.
When the loyalty goes to a single person, the results keep getting worse and worse and worse. And Gordon described it in quite vivid, if not very familiar terms. He said, how many dunces, how many drunkards, fellows of dirty morals, and no understanding, without address or common breeding, or one good quality, but with 1,000 ill ones, are to be seen of notable weight and esteem, for no earthly consideration, but that of their bigotry to their party, and of their party to them.
And there we go. We'll share this in the chat. I'm going to cut it off right here. This is a really good video. It describes the cults on the left and the right and how they get you to participate.
Yeah.
Right. So we just got to be made aware of that and not fall for it. Right.
That's right.
We need to be looking at policies and not parties. If you're voting red straight ticket, like you're really not doing yourself any favor. You could be voting against your own well-being. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like Miss Sheepdog said, she went in and voted before, and she didn't know who anybody on the ticket was, and she felt the fraud in that, like that she was cheating the public by not knowing who the hell she's straight ticketing or what they stood for. You don't know what they stand for. You don't know who's funding them. You don't know who they serve. You don't know what they've done in the past. You don't know nothing. They just run Republican. You just straight ticket it, and then you end up in a mess where you got red states, blue states, and all this other shit. Right.
Personally, I don't think you should even vote unless you know these things. I think
it's supposed to be
a
elected.
required test.
Right. What is it? What test should you have? Like a cognitive test?
to know the Constitution, first of all, know how the government runs.
They should have to take a morals and ethics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take a test before you vote, and then if you pass the test, then you can vote.
Right, because that, I mean, we're for real.
Well, and you know, I don't know if you guys have done any work on this, but most of the sheriffs, most of the people in our law enforcement are of an age where they've never been taught anything about the Constitution.
That's right.
They
They know nothing about the Constitution.
They call it an ideology.
Yeah,
I've heard that out of a cop's mouth. Oh, you're one of those constitutionalists. Like, yeah, this is America.
I mean, if you think about it, foreign people that come over here, before they can get citizenship, they have to know. They know more than the American citizens do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Go. What's it called when they become citizens? You go to that ceremony. Holy crap! You're right.
Yeah.
They know more than most know.
Yeah. And so we should be required to do the same.
Right.
Seriously.
At least teach it, get it back in the school, geopolitics in school,
Mm-hmm.
or how the government really works and how all this works. And your kids learn all this, and financing as well. They need to learn that.
Yes.
Oh gosh, absolutely.
So yeah, there's a lot that could be saved. So the youth is rejecting AI. It's not popular as most people think. The youth is rejecting all this fraud that they're seeing in the past. So if you just graduated high school, you've seen how many fraudulent elections since you've been a teenager growing into your adulthood, and that's the country that you have for it's a clown show. They're probably wondering, has it always been like this?
Yeah. Well,
And yes, that's the answer. Yeah, it's always been like this. It's just the bell's being lifted, our consciousness is rising. We're being more aware of what's going
Jenny
on.
said, even our SCOTUS, Clarence Thomas, states that he never took a constitutional class. Now that's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's scary.
So that's the issue I think we have, and that's what's bleeding over into our politics and stuff, and we're supporting unconstitutional bullshit by a bunch of corporate employees. But
Well, you
I'm
know,
gonna go ahead.
my father used to always say, if there was anything he could teach me, it was to not be one of those people that don't let the facts get in the way of decision making. Because people sometimes they just don't even know the fact, but they make a decision.
That's right.
That's it.
That's where we're in the mess we're all in.
So I'm glad it's happening the way it is. It's bringing the people together, and they can see it for what it is. There's no longer hiding it. They're not showing you. They're not making you. They're not giving you that. They're not giving me a warm and fuzzy feeling that the elections have been fixed since 2020. Nothing's been fixed. It's actually they're still using ballots like in Kentucky. They dropped off 10,800 ballots for special ed.
Like they said, things aren't getting better; they're getting worse. So we better wise up.
Yeah, it's people are learning. It's a learning thing, and people are having it. Some you can tell, and others you have to show. Well, we're still in that show. Some people still need to be shown, and I think that's what we're going through, which is a good thing. The pain brings change.
Yep.
Right, and it's only at the precipice do people want to make the change.
That's true.
So I want to go ahead.
Every time somebody makes a poor decision, it's going to come back. It's going to come back like tenfold now. It's like you should have gotten it sooner. Should have gotten it sooner. You just have to catch up to this. You can't just keep putting stuff off. Just like we said in the beginning of the show, every day you have to learn something new. Do different things with the food that you're eating. Do different things. Just do different things, not what you're used to doing. Do the right things all the time. I just had to talk with myself about this today, about doing the right thing all the time. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, when do I get a night off? When am I going to, I don't give myself a night off of not eating. I can't just go out and eat something that's bad. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me anymore. Mm-hmm. And I know that other people are still doing whatever the freak they want to do. And it's like that. It's like, and I can't even say, well, what am I doing? I know what I'm doing it, but it's like, I want people to stop, messing around and start really knowing that this is extremely serious. I don't even have kids, and I'm here trying to help the freaking world with your kids and your grandkids. It's like, what the hell? You can't step up and not, put the Doritos in your face, for a week or whatever. I don't know. But, or learn something, it's just really frustrating, especially for people that don't even have kids. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to save your people, and you can't even save yourself. So,
And I don't have children either, and there's times where I think to myself that I'm so happy that I don't, because I don't know what kind of a world we're leaving them.
oh, I'm happy. I was a decision I made a long time ago, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have my kids going to school with those other kids, because I knew I would end up in probably jail, because
Right.
I'd be going over and be Slapaho tribe leader, and just because it's not the kid, it's the parents.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know any better, so you're not teaching your kid. And so I just knew. I was like, it's good, that kid would be a real special guy if I had kids with them, real special. And they're special, all right. They were special in a bad way, the ones I ever found. So sorry for the rant, guys.
That's okay. No, it's true.
All
True.
right. We're going to go ahead and hand it off to Miss Diane. And thank y'all for coming tonight.
Yes, thank y'all.
Thanks for being here.
Miss
I
Kim,
was
welcome.
loving that segment. Absolutely loving that segment. We need more of that, because you are right. We have this two-party system, and I could go on all day, but I'm going to turn it over to Kim. Kim's going to get started.
Well, thank you. And thanks again for having us. And we're so grateful to be here. And thank you to the whole tribe. I'm going to read my required reading. And so, our goal is our pet's health. However, we need to stay healthy to care for our critters. Whether it's a dog, a cat, a horse, a rabbit, they depend on us. We are all about health for our furry family members and their parents. We specialize in mushroom support, mushroom therapy. Our flagship mushroom product for animals and humans is the Coriolis versicolor. With over 400 medical studies, it gives support to the immune system, so to aid in the most catastrophic condition or the most minor condition. This is not a cure, it's not a treatment, and it does not heal anything. We are not giving medical or veterinary advice. The immune system gets its support and then goes to work. We believe wellness should be shared. That's why we focus on mushrooms that support both pets and their humans, creating a bridge between ancient knowledge and modern living. And I'm going to briefly talk about my story today. I know most of you have heard it, but I've got a little tiny update. Get to that in a second. So I was diagnosed with a tumor in my brain on or near my pituitary gland, and it is pressing on my optic nerve. My vision went down pretty rapidly before that, and when I did not know that there was a tumor there. And that was in 2019. I didn't deal with it right away because I was helping my dad with his health issues. And so after he passed, I thought, well, it's time to get busy. So I started looking into things, and I happened to find Diana on one of her podcasts, and I said, I need to look into this. And so I did, and started taking the mushrooms in January 2024. My next MRI was scheduled for 2.5 months after that, and there was no growth. And then 6 months later, again, there was no growth. 6 months later, no growth. And at that one, my surgeon said, well, I'm going to say come back in a year. That was great news. And prior to that, after the initial MRI, I had 3 more 6 months apart, and every one of them, it grew a little bit more, a little bit more, pressing on that optic nerve a little bit more. And that is a concern because the more that it presses on that optic nerve, the more chance there is to go BLIND, which I didn't say that. I'm not claiming it. It's going to go away. So it's a little scary. But yesterday I had my another follow-up eye doctor's appointment, and she said things looked better than they did last time, which is marvelous and great. Very relieved. So I'm going to continue with my mushrooms. I've actually started all of them and doing the longevity pack. And I have just kind of, I hate taking all these pills. So I eliminated all of the other supplements that I was taking. I was kind of a supplement junkie, as most of us are. And so I quit all of that, and I'm relying on all the mushrooms for the vitamins and minerals and all that kind of good stuff. So hopefully we'll have some better news before long. Anyway, back to my thing. So what is the most serious thing facing our pets? Cancer, diabetes, allergies, poor nutrition. Cancer after a 10-year-old is a 50% chance. And the ones that pass at the vet's office, not in the office, but in the care of the vet's office, 50% more die. And what is the reason for that? Roundup, vaccines, the yucky food. Make sure you all go back to the March 18th show where we talk about the veterinarian takeover for the corporations and the pet parents' struggle to rapidly rising veterinarian costs and daycare and the care. Most pet owners do not know that their local vet is a part of a large corporation. Ask your vet direct questions. The simple method is to ask the front desk or the veterinarian directly, is this clinic locally owned or a part of a larger group? Most of them will say we are part of a partnership network. Follow up by asking who makes the final decisions on pricing and staffing. Who knows what the answer will be there. But anyway, I want to introduce Diana. She's one of the mushroom ladies. She is certified in holistic pet care, CBD for pets and humans, and certified in pet nutrition. What do you got to say, Diana?
Well, what I have to say is I just heard you say something and literally my heart stopped. So all of this time that you have been on mushroom support, every time you've gone to the doctor, it hasn't grown, it hasn't grown, it hasn't grown, it hasn't grown. Amazing. But I heard you say that the doctor says it looks better. Does that mean that it's starting to shrink? Is that what I heard?
No. There's different things that she's looking at. I can't quite remember all of the things that she was saying, but in general, things are looking better as far as, gosh, what did she say?
But those words, it's looking better. Oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, this is good, Kim. This is good news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and also, it's just kind of a platform where people like you see what we're doing, and you're one more of 1,000 that we have been able to, share this incredible mushroom journey that we're on. And today, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time, but I got some new news, and it's really important. I want to continue the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago where we talked about weight management and the mushroom weight management program. Like you said, we believe that wellness needs to be shared. That's why we focus on mushrooms that support pets and animals. We talked about the addition of our new product called the longevity package. And I want to just kind of recap a little bit about this GLP-1 thing, because the news I got yesterday literally brought me to my knees, and Kristen and I were both crying on the phone when we heard it. We know this GLP-1 shot is so popular. We understand why. 1 in 8 or 1 in 5 people, depending on which studies you read, have tried some sort of a GLP-1 program. JP Morgan says that there will be 30 million people who are either on it or have tried it by 2030. Think about that number. 40% of the people lose it to lose weight. Some people use it because they want to say that they're managing their A1C and their diabetes, which is like, this is why I'm doing it, because I'm really trying to manage my A1C and my diabetes. 40 to 72% of the people taking any type of GLP-1, and I'm just going to generically call it Ozempic. There's a million of them out there, but I'm just going to call it Ozempic, like Kleenex is called Kleenex, right? 40 to 70% have an adverse side effect. Things like stomach paralysis, vomiting, diarrhea, tumors, cancers, pancreatitis, sometimes fatal, excessively slow gut, constipation, hair loss, gallbladder problems, thyroid issues. It slows down the gastric emptying and intestinal contractions. It moves food slower through the gut. People who have had reports of fever, jaundice, thyroid tumors, kidney issues, and this is all from a report out of the UK. I watched a video yesterday of a man whose wife started taking it because she wanted to lose some weight and was vomiting so often and so horribly that at one point he walked into the bathroom and said, "If I call an ambulance, she'll be dead before they get here." And he helped her into the car, took her to the hospital, and she died in the car. She died. She aspirated. She had been vomiting so much she aspirated. The American Heart Association, in a recent announcement, probably 2 years ago, they said, "We used to recommend diet and exercise for obesity. We have decided that will be our number 2 recommendation. Our number 1 recommendation for obesity is now a GLP-1 type of shot like Ozempic." Are you kidding me? The American Heart Association has fallen into the trap of saying that you're not going to do diet and exercise. We know you're not going to do it. So therefore, we're going to make it our number 2 recommendation, which basically is just lowering the bar, right? I mean, you can't diet and exercise to lose weight. Nobody will do it. They would rather have the shot because we are a microwave society now where everything has to be instantaneously done. So we have done some deep dive into this whole thing. I have 4 good friends who are taking this shot, and trust me, there's a little bit of jealousy that's happening with me because I'm watching them drop weight like crazy. They're looking amazing, but they're also starting to get that Ozempic face thing, which we'll talk about. So we've done a lot of research. We've done a lot of deep diving, just trying to find out like what this is all about. And so I'm going to say a couple big words and just kind of hear me out. It won't take me long to get through what I want to say. And then I have something horrible to tell you. Spermidine. It is a mitochondrial biogenesis generated by fasting. So when you fast, then your mitochondria biogenesis happens and it's called spermidine. Autophagy is the recycling of cells without deprivation like fasting. So it's basically when the good cells eat the bad cells. Here is what brought me to my knees yesterday. The World Health Organization has just issued that individuals taking this type of treatment are facing a 45% higher risk of suicidal ideation. Think about it. For people who are on antidepressants or anti-anxiety drugs, they are experiencing 150 to 300% higher risk of suicide. What?
Wow.
Because it interferes with the serotonin and the dopamine pathways. This drug can trigger or worsen mental health issues. So think about this simplistically. All these people are taking a drug
because they're depressed.
Yeah, that's supposed to make you feel better about how you look, but it makes you want to kill yourself. I mean, like, okay, I can't even wrap my head around that. I literally can't wrap my head around it. So all of my good four girlfriends that are looking fantastic for now because the face thing is just starting with them. I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't want to lose you. I don't want you to kill yourself. But this was just put out yesterday by the World Health Organization. Yet the American Heart Association is still recommending it as the number one way to lose weight. Okay, so 40% of the people use this to lose weight. 20 to 50% of the weight loss is muscle. We need muscle in our body to hold us upright, to protect our spine. You see that Ozempic face that you see everywhere? That's muscle loss. You also are starting to see these people that are shuffling their feet because they've lost so much muscle tone in their feet that they can't walk. The other problem with this is it's a lifetime commitment. A lifetime commitment. If you quit taking it, you gain everything back and you don't gain back muscle. You gain back fat. Now, they already told us they know that we're too lazy to do the diet and exercise. So as we're gaining back all this weight, we're going to be too lazy to build it into muscle, is my assumption. I don't have any reports on that, but that's my assumption. So we recently introduced a mushroom-based weight management protocol. It's not a weight loss program. It's a weight management protocol. And what we're saying is we really just want to support systems, not treat symptoms, like this shot, which is literally hijacking the body. It's hijacking the body. So let's talk about what this shot does. The GLP-1, it is something that mimics something that happens in the body naturally. A natural hormone which is released after you eat is the GLP-1, okay? But the shot is actually mimicking it. It does not address the root cause as to why your body isn't releasing it properly. So the GLP-1 does 5 things, and it does this in your body naturally as the way it was intended to work. It mutes the food noise, which is what most of us have going on in our head. We talk about food. I was talking to a woman the other day. I belong to this weight loss group and we're all doing it naturally. And she said, all I do is think about what am I going to eat next? What am I going to have for dinner? What am I going to have for breakfast? All I do is think about it. So there is food noise that happens for people. The GLP-1 in your body naturally mutes that food noise. It also boosts full feeling, which is the gut-brain axis. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, the GLP-1 naturally slows the stomach and gut microbiome. Okay, it slows it down a little bit. The third thing it does is it stabilizes blood sugar, glucose metabolism, and regulates insulin and glucose. The fourth thing that it does is it helps with cravings and stressed cortisol maintenance. And the fifth thing it does is it helps with lipid metabolism, which is the processing of fat cells. Okay, so those things are important. Those 5 things need to happen. But obviously, they're not happening properly in a lot of people. Therefore, if we take away you're just eating too much and not moving enough, we got to figure out why that's happening. So we went into a deep dive with all the mushrooms that we've been working with, and we learned so much stuff. It's so exciting. The lion's mane mushroom does the number 1 item. It helps mute food noise. It helps your body feel like it's full. It's a gut-brain axis that the lion's mane mushroom actually helps. The Coriolus versicolor mushroom slows the stomach and gut microbiome. That's the number 2 thing that GLP-1 does. The maitake mushrooms helps regulate insulin and glucose, which stabilizes blood sugar. Again, that's the 3rd thing that the GLP-1 in our body does. The 4th thing is the reishi mushroom, which helps with stressed cortisol maintenance and cravings. And then the 5th thing is the shiitake mushroom, which helps with the processing of fat cells and the lipid metabolism. So basically, you have all these mushrooms that can do the same thing naturally and help train the body to start doing it the right way as this synthetic shot. We also have added to the pack something that's called a longevity gel. It has 3 of the mushrooms and proprietary structured water and interleaf aloe vera. So basically, what we're trying to do is help people to create the natural GLP-1 that's supposed to happen without hijacking our body. I learned something yesterday, and it just hit me so hard. Real health cannot be injected. And we just need to think about that. Real health cannot be injected. It has to be built through consistency, through low risk foundations. And we're excited about trying to help with this. This was not at all something that we had planned, was to come out with this longevity pack. But we said, wait a minute, what if we can show that this mushroom can create the process of the GLP-1 and do it naturally instead of synthetically, without all these horrible side effects, without the fact that when you stop taking all these mushrooms from the longevity pack, your body hopefully will have started to learn how to do it naturally, but you're not going to just put all the weight back on. So we're ridiculously excited about what has happened. But I want for all of you that know anyone out there who is taking these shots that cost, the cheapest I have seen is $110, and it goes all the way up to $1,000. Just depends on your insurance, depends on how much you have to pay. The longevity pack is $239, and that is for a 1 month supply for a 200-pound person. So I'm 150 pounds. And that'll be a 1 month supply for me because I'm taking a 200-pound dose. We do have a protocol that we can send you that has all the information in it. If you just go to sheepdogspets@gmail.com, sheepdogspets@gmail.com, and ask for the protocol, we'll send it to you. So we have a few testimonials that have been coming in. We've been working with this now for about 6 weeks. I have been on a diet journey for, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. Oh, I have to tell you something. 6 years ago, yesterday, was my first chemotherapy treatment. And I think back on that day, and I think back on what has happened since. And the journey has just been incredible. But it's been 6 years since I took that first chemo treatment. And I look back and think, wow, how did that happen? But what this company is trying to do is trying to help us do things naturally. And granted, chemo is anything but natural. But in my case, my cancer case, my husband and I felt it was the best decision to make, even though we had said we weren't going to do it. That's a whole nother story. So my weight loss journey has been, I wanted to get about 60 pounds off. And this started about 5 years ago. And I have lost 50 in the 5 years. That's 10 pounds a year. The last 8-9 months, I have been dropping 1 ounce a week, 1 bloody ounce a week. And my husband said to me, "Oh, honey, it's okay. You'll make your goal weight by the time you're 80. And he's still alive. So that tells you I've got some kindness in me. But he was right. I was like, oh my gosh, an ounce a week. Yeah, it's a loss, and I'll take a loss, but 1 ounce a week. So I started on this program, and here's where I have gone. The first week I dropped a pound, and I didn't change anything except I started this program. Well, that was like, a pound is way better than an ounce, right? So I was excited. The second week I lost a pound. Again, very excited. Third week I lost a pound. Fourth week I lost a pound. Fifth week I lost 2.5 pounds. Now, I'm way ahead of where I was at that 1 ounce thing. I have noticed a few things different. One thing I've noticed is I'm completely uninterested in eating. I have, Dell will go, "Did you eat anything today?" And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I haven't eaten anything. I kind of have to make a schedule to make myself eat because the food noise is gone. It's just gone. I've had no side effects. I've had nothing that I felt was out of normal for me. One of our podcasters had a woman that popped on the screen today who's been on it for 4 weeks, and she's lost 7 pounds in 4 weeks. Those are not huge numbers, but we all know that you have to lose weight in small amounts. Now, Kristen lost 7 pounds in her first month, and frankly, she really doesn't have 7 pounds to lose. But now that we look at her, we kind of think that, yeah, maybe her body just needed that little extra off. Her mother lost like 14 pounds in 2.5 or 3 weeks. And she had been on a pretty stringent weight regimen and had stalled completely. And then we have another gentleman named Kurt, who I want to say he's down like 16 pounds in the 6 weeks now. Men always lose more. But the point is that I want to hear these testimonials. I want people to talk to us about what they're doing and how they're doing with this. We have an obligation to help our fellow man and people that are poisoning their body. We have to say something. My husband and I had this incredibly cute little argument about me driving down the road in the summer when it's 120 here in Boulder City, Nevada, and seeing dogs being walked on the pavement. And I will pull over quietly. I don't screech over. I'll jump out with 2 pair of little kids' socks. And I'll walk over to the person and I'll say, here, maybe you could put these on your dog. And I do it kindly. I do it nice. I'm not, being a Karen and yelling at them, even though I want to. I want to tell them to kick off their flip-flops and walk right beside the dog. But of course, I don't want to fight. My husband says, one of these days you're going to get shot. But so far, anytime I have done that, most people are pretty like, oh, I forgot his booties, or, oh, he kicked him off, or, oh, gosh, thank you for that. What a great idea. I've not had anybody be like mean to me. So I kind of feel like if you do anything with the right heart, if your heart's in the right place, you can almost do and say anything. You do it with love. I'm going to go to my 4 friends who I've tried to talk to them, but I haven't really had all of these facts, and sit down with them and with love try to get them to quit doing what they're doing and go to a more natural way of weight management. So that's kind of like my whole thing today about, I just feel like we're at a crazy place. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit. We're not just offering mushrooms for people and weight management. We're offering mushrooms for animals too. The next show that we do with the sheepdogs, I really want to spend some time talking about what's happening with these boxes of ticks that are being dropped all over the country. Mr. Sheepdog, I'm sure you know a lot about this. I am just diving deep into trying to figure out what it's all about. And it's terrifying because it sounds as if this particular tick, if you get bit by it, makes you allergic to anything that is a mammal, like
right. I think that the fear of it is being pushed because they came out with a new vaccine to help you with that issue.
Well, but what I have not dived deep enough to know much, but what I can say is Miss Kim has contacted us numerous times telling us, I just found another tick on my dog. Kim, talk about the amount of ticks you have found on your poor pup.
Well,
and are you used to seeing that kind of no, not at all? Okay. I
got my first tick about 10 years ago, and it was only one, and I had been in the Daniel Boone National Forest, so yeah, that's kind of logically, and then I did not get another one until I think I had some last year. And I am absolutely, totally freaked out about them. I mean, I didn't even want to go to the lake and be me. I didn't want to go to the lake because of all the stupid ticks. And went to my brother's who lives out in the boonies 2 weekends ago. And I used some essential oil kind of stuff and this and that, and Onyx still got ticks. Her hair is so long and thick that it was torture trying to look through there and get them. So I want to show you my new jewelry that I wear around my neck. You know what that is? A tick puller, and I literally wear it on the tick.
Well, that's hysterical.
What? Let me see that again. Look at that.
That's genius.
Yes,
Is that really? Does it work?
yes.
Wow.
And you can get them at Walmart under $2. You get a large one and a small one.
Yep.
And I love making me itch thinking about it. So we were sitting on the deck, and I can't keep my hands off of her. So I'm always petting her and touching her. And when I'm doing that, I'm digging down into the fur and feeling the skin and trying to find a tick. Well, one day after we had been there, I looked and, oh my God, there's a tick. And I'm, oh, I want to yell for somebody, come help me, because anyway, I pulled the skin up, hair apart, and, said, oh my God, don't move. And I got up. She didn't move, but she didn't get up, but she moved. And so when I came back, I couldn't find it. And I was going out of my mind looking for that thing. 3 days later, I found it. And when I found it, I went, okay, I'm ready. And I took this off my neck and I got it. And I'm like, I am never going without this thing on my neck. But I found, after I got that one, I think I found 3 of them on her little nose. And I had been everywhere on her body, and they had gotten big because they'd been there for a week. And I was freaking out. And then, I'd look and I'm like, oh my God, there's one on me. And I don't get it. They're just everywhere. And
well, the tick puller is critical, because if you don't pull them out the right way, you leave part of it in there. You just can't brush it off. I know there are some people that say they burn them off. I've heard all that, but the tick puller, you can get it at any sporting goods store. You can get it on Amazon, but it absolutely works. So Kim, have you tried, because so where I live, the fleas and ticks can't make it here. It's too hot. So we're actually quite lucky until they genetically modify a tick that can handle 120, which I'm sure they're working on it. We have horse flies here, and if I'm in an area where there's horse flies, it will find me before it finds anyone else and bite me. It's a family laughing joke, because when anyone sees a horse fly, they go, oh, Diana must be nearby because it's going to go bite her, and it will bite me and I will swell up, and it's a horrible experience, and it takes weeks and weeks for this big huge red welt to go away. I have been using Wondercide. It is something that you can buy anywhere. Amazon has it. It's the lemongrass one. It's all natural essential oils. There's nothing bad in it. You can use it for animals. I've been spraying it on myself, and it's been very interesting what's been happening. We go to the lake, a horsefly comes right towards us, and literally like there was a clear glass dome, it stops, turns, and goes. And my husband is just like, did you see that? And I'm like, holy crap, because I was getting ready to run and duck and put a cover over me, because I always know that fly is going to get me and bite me. It is so interesting how the lemongrass in this Wondercide is repelling the horse flies, which means it's got to be working. So I would definitely start spraying Onyx, and all of you out there with animals, especially between their toes, because that's where ticks go. They love to go between the toes. Start spraying your dogs with something natural like this. The Wondercide seems to be working really well for us, but spray that pup every time you go out, not just once a day, but every time you go out, because this is terrifying. This whole tick thing. And next time we come on, Mr. Sheepdog, I will have promised to have done my homework. But to think that they're actually dropping, I saw an interview today. Like I said, I'm starting to deep dive of a guy who flies one of the helicopters with the guys who drop these ticks. And it is a highly lucrative thing for him to do. He is paid a ton of money to drop these ticks. Now, Mr. Sheepdog, you may know about this. Why do they do it to begin with? What was the reason?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I think they dropped off a lot of ticks in Congress in D.C. as well, and I think we need to take the tick puller there to remove the parasites. I think it's all comms.
Yeah, really.
No, It could be
Okay.
something I know when I went to
No, but they
Ohio.
did have that
I'm not saying this.
a
It's
while back. They said
people,
that ticks are not natural; they're geoengineered.
right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Yeah,
what is a tick's purpose, right? To suck the lifeblood out of the animal or
right.
yeah.
whatever it attaches to,
Well,
right?
eventually, their frequency, they won't even be able to be here because the frequency will be too wrong to
Well, they
even.
need to hurry up with that frequency. We need to get the frequency thing generator around our homes. Then maybe
It's the
that'll run them
fear.
off.
They want to put fear into everybody. It's
I'm
like,
Yeah,
putting that frequency out and they're still coming.
I've
Well, and
seen
we
Right.
ticks.
always knew that they transmitted Lyme's disease. We knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was known. But now
Right.
this is just all unknown that's going on.
I
Well,
seen it a couple like when we were in Ohio in 2022. I've never seen so many ticks in my life. Like I've never like, and I'm out here in East Texas in the woods. We hardly ever get any ticks. Of course, I'm not out in the woods running through the woods, but we were just around people's homes that live out, in the country. But I mean, we were picking ticks off, 10, 20 ticks off a day.
yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my
Like
God.
I'd get in the
Oh
shower,
my
I'd have them
God.
under my
Oh,
arms, I'd have
oh,
it
A
on my
couple of
leg,
years
my back
ago,
of my leg. I'd wake up and I'd have,
oh.
and it makes you just, oh
they
my,
were bad.
I couldn't wait to leave. I was like, oh, I said, what? And I don't know if it was because we mowed the yard or what, but after we mowed the yard, it was like a infestation of ticks, and I'm like, oh my God. So I seen it. I know what it's like, and I seen it in Ohio, out there by the serpent mounds.
But I think the meat thing, being allergic to meat thing,
Yeah.
I think it might be something else. But they're saying
Uh,
that Trump just did that deal with China, sending a bunch of our beef over to China.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they process it and send it back here
Oh
instead
God.
of just selling it directly to us.
Well, I'm looking at, I just went to AI and what is the purpose of a tick? And it said ticks are a steady food source for a variety of small animals, reptiles, ground foraging birds like wild turkeys. Um,
Where's the turkeys?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, my sister is in Ohio and they do have a ton of wild turkeys. They're everywhere. But if they're eating these ticks, am I going to want to eat them? I mean,
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah. And it
Well,
says that the tick survival depends heavily on local environmental conditions and the availability of specific hosts, i.e., we're becoming the host. But yeah, I think the next show we do, let's really I want to deep dive into this because this is terrifying. My method of eating, I eat carnivore. If I got bit by one of these ticks, I would starve to death because apparently it would make me allergic to everything that's mammal. I don't get it.
Well, they say snakes eat ticks, but I seen this. We showed a snake just the other day
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
show
had ticks.
that was
Yes.
infested with ticks all the way down its body.
Well,
Ugh.
if you think about
A
it,
snake.
Mother Nature would automatically they would adapt to something to get rid of something, right? So that maybe
You
they
would think.
weren't here, and then the turkeys or whatever picked up on eating it to get rid of it, right?
Well, yeah, and these guys that are dropping these boxes of ticks, do they not have any morals? I mean,
No.
you didn't pay me enough to go up and drop boxes of ticks into areas. I mean, I don't understand it. It kind of reminds me, I live in Nevada and we had gone up to the northern part of Utah. You had to go through Idaho to get back to this little town called Yarbridge. It's considered the most remote town of any town in the United States. And as we're driving up the road appeared to be moving. And my first thought was, oh my God, the road is covered with tarantulas. And my husband said, I don't think they're tarantulas. I don't know what they are, but literally the road appeared to be moving. We slowed down to get a better look, and it was covered with these things called Mormon crickets.
Ugh.
And I mean, I'm talking covered. You couldn't see the pavement. So as we got closer and closer to this little town, I'm freaking out because I don't like bugs anyway. We pull into this little RV park and we're gonna keep our RV there. And we go to the restaurant, and literally I was running and jumping to miss these Mormon crickets that were popping everywhere. I mean, there were millions of them. And I had to carry my dog because we couldn't even let him down. And we get into this restaurant. It was like, a scene out of a horror movie. And they're laughing at me. And there's like 26 people that live in this town. And they're going, oh, welcome to Yarbridge. Those are the Mormon crickets. And I'm like, what
Oh my
the frick is
gosh.
going on? Goes, oh, yeah, we take shop vacs and we put them in shop vacs when they get so bad. Just Google it. Google Mormon crickets and shop vacs. And then he told me the story about how these Mormon crickets came. And the reason they're called Mormon crickets is they tried to destroy all the crops in Utah. But somehow, somewhere, seagulls came. We're talking the middle of the country. We're not talking by the ocean. Seagulls came and ate the crickets and saved the crops that year. And that's why at some of the Mormon temples, you'll see these statues of the seagull. Well, literally, we literally stayed in this town for less than 24 hours. It was too dark to go back down the windy, crazy road. And I have never in my life seen anything like this. It's like, why would somebody want to live there? And they were laughing at me. This happens every year. It's not even a bad year. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, but like, why do we have this infestation?
Mm-hmm.
I understand the crickets wanted to eat the crops, but why are we getting these ticks everywhere? What's the purpose?
I don't know. We need a tick puller and some tick eaters. And
Right.
To drive us crazy.
Maybe we should all buy. Maybe we should buy stock in the tick pulling business, the tick puller companies.
Think about it, to make us sick,
well, they got TikTok.
right?
My
And
ideal, sorry, my ideal sheepdog was, you're making copper bracelets. I'd like a silver tick puller or copper tick puller since I'm going to wear it around my neck.
That's a good idea.
Kim, you might have just jumped on something good.
I know.
Right,
I shouldn't have
for
said
real.
it to the world. but-
What that is a little
Yeah, I mean-
miniature nail puller. I think
Yeah,
that's what that is.
right. Well, you see people with these really cute little army lives that do everything that they wear around their necks, and why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you're keeping it handy is so smart, because
That
with
is.
Onyx being a black dog, if you see that tick, you're going to lose it if you go get a tick puller and come back.
Oh yeah, and I did. I lost it several times, and so I've had it 2 or 3 times on here. I was at my friend's house the other day when I found the 3 ticks on her nose, and I'm like, oh my God! And my friend said, "Go get the tick puller." I said, "Nope, that's right here." It was ready.
Well, and what you've seen pictures of, like that snake you were talking about, Mr. Sheepdog. You've seen pictures of dogs when they spread their toes apart, just filled with ticks, just filled. And it's just like, oh, and it's just, yeah. So I don't know. It's a scary time, though. I mean, here we are, where the American Heart Association is pushing a drug that 40% of the population is using, that is going to possibly paralyze their stomach, not to mention all the other things. Some of the pictures I've seen of these people on this Ozempic they just make my skin crawl. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, because they look so. I mean, the only word I can come up with is demonic. I mean, I know that's weird, but it's the only word I can come up with. You've seen it, the sunken face, and I just, I don't know. I mean, but I think the thing that really hits me is, the time that we're in right now. We've all got to be, as your previous guest had said, we've got to be educating ourselves. We have got to be learning, and we've got to be deep diving, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's not intended to make our lives good and make us feel better.
Right.
No, but for us, we just, thank you guys always for letting us come on and talk about what's going on with our animals. And I do have 2 quick testimonials. Last time I was on, I think Kim talked about a dog named Shelby. Shelby was a 14-year-old lab who had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. The vet said, too old to do chemo, not healthy enough to do chemo. You just need to put this dog down. And we got the phone call. It was a good friend of ours. And, I was kind of angry, because we had talked to them a few years ago about starting their older dogs on mushrooms, but they didn't. And, hindsight's always 20/20. We started Shelby on the mush ponies, and Shelby was in pretty bad shape. But about a week later, they contacted me, and we FedExed her the mushrooms. they contacted me and they were like, oh my gosh, this dog's like a new dog. Shelby wants to play with her toys. She's eating again. She wants to play tug of war. They sent me a video of them throwing the ball and her jumping up and catching it. And everybody was laughing and happy. And it just like warmed my heart. Unfortunately, we lost Shelby about 2 weeks after that. But, you know, the thing that I thought about was the gift of us giving Shelby this mushroom gave her an amazing last 4 weeks of her life. And it was all about the quality. It was all about the ending memories for Shelby, was that she was jumping and playing and catching her ball and all the things she wanted to do. She wasn't laying there getting depleted and just dying. She went to sleep one night, didn't wake up. And you know, we don't win everything that we do. We don't fix every animal that comes to us that's ill. But when we can say that we at least improved the quality of the life and gave the family some really great memories for the last month that they cherished, and they actually spent more time with her than normal because they knew that, you know, the possibility of her days were limited, I think is all about what our journey is, and our journey with mushroom therapy and our journey with helping animals and helping people. And then another story quickly, gentleman he repairs slot machines for a living, and he slot machines are pretty heavy, and he's injured his back quite a bit. And he was on so many opioids that he can't pass drug tests when he goes into some of these casinos to work. And I'm right outside of Vegas, so that really affects his livelihood. So he either has to be in pain or he has to be on drugs. They've put him on everything they could put him on, and nothing seems to work. We started him on a pretty mega dose of the green bottle of Enforce, which is just the Coriolus versicolor mushroom, which has anti-inflammatory property. I know with my own story, it helped increase my bone density during chemotherapy, which is unheard of. And about 2 weeks later, he contacted me and said, Diana, I'm sleeping through the whole night. I haven't slept through the whole night in years because I have to keep adjusting and moving, and because I'm in so much pain. And now we're at about the 4th week, and he's literally pain-free. He cannot believe what's happened. And I have a couple of plumbers that I've worked with who, you know, plumbers that tend to hurt their back because they try to lift those toilets and things that are really heavy, and they're always in awkward positions trying, you know, I don't know how plumbers do the job that they do, and I admire that. But I have a couple that have had some degenerative disc problems that we've also started on the Coriolus versicolor Enforce, and they too have been able to get off of the drug therapy that they were on with opioids and painkillers, which, you know, are only causing more damage. And so I'm going to end with a saying that I heard the other night. I heard a saying that said, when you're sick and you go to a doctor or whatever, recovery involves 2 things. It involves recovering from the illness and recovering from the treatment you were given. And that kind of hit me pretty hard, that, you know, whenever we are treated for something in the medical world, it usually does damage in another way, like whether it's your liver, your kidneys, or the side effects that we see with everything. And when you can do something naturally, like we're doing with mushrooms, like, you know, people are doing with so many other great things, we just are thankful that we can be here to share it. And we're here to answer any questions. sheepdogspets.com is where you can go to check out what we're doing. But please send us any questions. Kim and I answer every email at sheepdogspets@gmail.com. Kim, do you want to add anything?
I'm wondering how many caps those were taken. Did they take the dosage on the back, or were they doubled or tripled?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The 2 guys that you were talking about at the end.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The plumbers. One guy is about 150. He's not a big guy. He started out with 3 a day, which is normal, for about a week, and then he doubled it for about 2 months until he really started noticing that, and then he slowly weaned himself back down to 3. The other guy is about 200 pounds, and his normal dosage would have been 4 a day. He started with 4 a day. Again, after a week, he doubled it, and he's still. I don't think I'm going to talk him out of. He's so happy right now. He's afraid to wean himself down a little bit. And if budget's not an issue, you can't take too much of this Coriellus versicolor. It's just a food. It's just a mushroom. It's going to leave your body one way or another.
Okay, good. Good to know. No, I don't think I have anything else. Just check yourself very, very well for ticks. You never know where there might be one.
Yeah, scary. Yeah.
Right, and don't put yourself in so much fear that you think the vaccine is the solution. I think that's what it's all about. Maybe it could be there is an infestation, and they're talking about it's lasting until 2027. Tick season drags longer, is what Pfizer's talking about right here. They hope to release the Lyme disease vaccine in 2027.
Then there's natural herbs for that too. Right. Look into it.
100%. We are a society that's being driven by fear with everything. Oh, I'm afraid we're going to run out of toilet paper. We better go buy more. Oh, I'm afraid. My sister is in Ohio where they have bad snowstorms, and her joke to me always is right when they announce the storm's coming, all the milk and bread is gone off the shelves, and she's like, what do people do with all this milk and bread? It's just so funny, but it's fear driven.
I do have a question. Sorry. If after you're bitten by a tick, do you all have any suggestions about what to do to maybe instead of taking the antibiotics to prevent any Lyme or Affigal or anything like that?
I don't know enough about a tick bite, but my first thought right when you said that was someone gave me, because I have something called Skeeter syndrome, that if I get bit by a mosquito or a horsefly or something, I swell up, and it's the histine that's created in your body that kind of goes into overproduction. There's a thing I think it's called Don't Bite Me or No Bite Me or something like that. It's like $5. It's a suction cup that you put over the bite and suck out like anything that the mosquito had put into your body, and it works really well. I'm wondering if something like that would be a good thing to do with a tick bite. I don't know. I mean, maybe we all need to do some research on that.
Well, if you can withstand some pain, take a blowtorch to your arm.
Well, okay. So that's funny. There is a little tool out of Germany. It's a burner, and I'll have it with me on the next show. Whenever I get bit by a mosquito, my husband puts it on each mosquito bite, and it literally burns like a cigarette burn, but it doesn't leave a mark. It hurts like bloody hell. I mean, and my husband gets great pleasure out of putting it on every single one of my mosquito bites. But it stops the histine. The heat stops the histine. It's an amazing device, but I'm wondering, I don't know. Let me do some research on that, because our next show, we really want to dive deep into the heartworm issues of flea bites, the heartworm medications, and the whole tick thing.
Yeah, there's natural herbs for Lyme disease to prevent that. There's Japanese knotweed.
Okay,
that's an alternative medicine for instead of going to Pfizer, right? So that is, and there's also cat's claws and sweet wormwood.
Wormwood.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet wormwood.
Sweet wormwood.
Yeah, wormwood. I've heard that.
Not the bitter one, the sweet one.
And ticks hate cedarwood, citronella, tea tree, peppermint, eucalyptus, lavender, geranium, cinnamon, orange, and lemon.
Put that all in a damn.
Yeah, you can mix it in a spray bottle. Add 20 or so drops into each of any of the essential oils. A mixture of them. I know they don't like sweet cedarwood. That's what I bought when we were in Ohio, and I mixed it with some coconut oil.
They start crawling off of them.
And I rubbed it all over the dogs.
It brings them to the surface.
Yes.
Like if they got long hair or something
that
like that,
sense.
They'll start crawling away from wherever it's at, and they'll come out, and then you grab them.
And
that makes
Damascus
total
herb.
sense. Yeah, I like
Damascus herb.
Well, and
domestic
also just
syrup.
don't forget about preventing. Kim, you've really been going through a tough one there. I mean, I would be dousing my little baby's feet and legs because he's got long legs, with whatever that. Like I said, I'm using Wondercide because I'm watching. I'm literally watching the flies fly right toward me, stop and turn and leave. It's really kind of interesting. We're gonna try to get it on video next time we go there because. I got to the point where I didn't want to go there anymore because I was getting bit by a horsefly every time I went.
Yep.
But now I feel like I've got a dome around me.
That's good.
Oh, and WD-40, that's an interesting one that somebody's talking about. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Chemicals
in it. I don't know.
I've seen some people use some weird shit. I've seen people use what's that petroleum you put in the lights they used to light?
The what?
The petroleum they used to put in
yeah,
the lights, the lamps.
Yeah.
What's that called?
Kerosene?
Yeah, they used to put kerosene in little kids' head if they had lights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, their heads would be on fire,
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
but they wouldn't have any more lights. And it's like, is that safe?
Wow.
Also, if you take Damascus earth and powder it all over your dog and brush it through, that also prevents them.
Yeah, and it also the diatomaceous earth takes away the oxygen for the flea eggs because
Yes.
the problem with fleas is you've got the eggs, the pre-adult, and the adult. So you've got 3 generations or 3 stages of life that you have to kill, and the diatomaceous earth, definitely can help with that. But well, we've really got to become a community of people who do as much research as we can to help all of us through this whole tick thing. If we've got to deal with it for a couple years, we've got to deal with it. But like you said, do not put yourself into a position where you take this vaccine.
Right. Exactly.
Your research.
There's natural things for
Yeah.
natural stuff for everything.
And if you do the diatomaceous earth, make sure that you kind of protect the noses. You don't want to breathe that stuff in.
Right. I'm looking at the chat, and the woman says my grandmother used WD-40 for arthritis. I did a whole motivation call on the WD-40 product, and how it was all about. They could have given up at WD-39, but they kept going until they actually created WD-40, and it's a really great story of tenacity and a company just wanting to make something that they knew would be great. And look at all the uses for something like WD-40, and here this woman for her arthritis. That's hysterical.
Wow.
If it works.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It feels like the Tin Man putting some oil on his joint so he can move around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Remember when he rusted up and it was all like, and he needed the oil? Yeah.
Okay, so Truth 88 Denison's using it for cologne. Come on.
So there are some people that like the smell of it.
Well,
I know my daughter used to love the smell of it.
Yeah. Oh, but it smells like golden oil. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hate to be a party pooper, but I have to get out. I have an appointment I have to get to, so I appreciate you guys. Dogspets.com. Go visit, support these amazing people who work so hard for all of you. And the segment that you did before we came on, I loved that. We need more of that.
Yes, I agree. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, awesome. And I have to say goodbye, so I'm going to head out.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
all right,
Thank
Diana. Miss
you.
Kim. Y'all have a good
Bye.
night.
Thank you.
Good night, you all.
All right, so the tick thing, it looks like, see how it's at the upper northeast coming down,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I put the essential oils that I use for me and Bud, and they the ticks usually will back out like you were saying, and they'll end up either on. I put down a creamy color white bedspread, so I'll see them on there, or I catch them crawling on me. I'm like, you dirty.
Oh yeah.
So we see how.
Thank you.
So you see how it goes up to 2010 and 2020, and then it gets worse in 23. That's when I was there around that
Yeah,
time,
it
and
was
that
bad.
shit was bad. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, is it always like this up here? Like, who can withstand this?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. Like, is this normal? And they were in the house. I mean, it was everywhere.
all
It
over.
was just like
Neighbors.
so.
found it.
2023, it looks like there was a huge breakout.
Yeah.
So 2020, 2023. So it's been happening like
Yes.
over time.
Same thing with the mosquitoes. When Bill Gates was supposed to drop those mosquitoes, right?
Uh-huh.
They carry disease. These are, I think they're bio. This is my theory. I think they were bioengineered for entertainment purposes only to
Yeah,
cause illnesses so that they could treat us.
look at where they released them in Houston. It popped up real hard. How does that happen if it was no infestations of surrounding counties?
Exactly.
Look, there's no other surrounding counties, but Houston lights up brown like in 2023. Like, what was that? And you can see in different areas of where you see these things pop up.
They
from
just
one
got
to
their medicine supply in, so
like, what are these? Are they located like big cities? See that? Like LA and all that
Yeah,
shouldn't
isn't
have
it
chicken.
strange?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but when you look at that county surrounding it,
Right.
nothing's going on. Only in the cities and the big where there's more people. Where I guess where there's a, especially up north, Chicago, Northeast. That's where 80% of the United States lives. Is on the East Coast, right? So we can see that's why up here Northeast. Nothing going really on in Florida. You might get down. So there was a big infestation in 2023 in Florida. Actually, looks like all over. So it's like a silent little attack. These damn little. Right.
Yeah, I think they've been doing that to us.
You think so?
Mhm.
So here's Ross.
So now that Thomas Massey's gone, we're really going to see the MAGA mission in full force, right? That's kind of what, there's no more stopping it from happening. So we should start to see, hopefully, some Epstein arrests. Is that what we're hoping for? We should start to see mass deportations at a significantly higher rate than they have been. We should start to see gas prices coming down and taxes coming down. Should we start seeing some of the, the $2,000 checks to us from the Doge cuts and stuff like that? I just want to be sure what our expectations are so nobody can pivot from them in the future. And then also let me know when the war you think is going to end and what we're getting from it long term. And look, I can't wait to be fussy for no reason about this kind of thing because you guys are right the whole time. We did actually go back and arrest all the Epstein people. Fauci did get justice. Everybody who vaccine mandated people is getting thrown under the prison, all that kind of stuff. I hope we haven't pivoted from the thing that made us all vote for Trump in the first place. Right, guys? Right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, get Massey out of there. They can start arresting that. Oh wait, that's quite the opposite, right? Special ed was put in there to make sure that the Epstein stuff doesn't come out because he must be implicated. How does Miriam Adelson, right, and Paul Singer, is that his name? The pedo, right? So all these pedophiles funded special ed, and special ed won. You don't see special ed shouldn't be too happy about that he had a bunch of pedophiles funding his campaign. That's not a good look, and I'm shocked that people voted for the other guy and voted period in this race, knowing that pedophiles are funding the guy's race. Like you have no morals or principles. Like what the is going on when people in your face can be funded by pedophiles can win an election, local election in your state? You should be pissed. But the morals of America have fallen so much that you can tell them they're eating the kids and nobody whimpers, nobody even blinks an eye. But if you tell them that cats and dogs are being eaten, everybody loses their minds. Children are being eaten, crickets. Sick shit, ain't it?
Yeah.
That might be why they used
Kids
to
being
say
raped.
huh?
Web.
That might be why they used to say that they would cook up the cats at the Chinese restaurant. And I'm not spreading rumors or anything, but that could be a psyop that they started a long time ago.
Right.
Everybody's cooking. When you go to Mexico, they say the same thing.
Oh, she was
Everywhere. And then
Yeah,
we
but I don't
we
know
find out
anymore.
And then we find out we're eating humans in McDonald's. So, you know, but yet McDonald's still has a line down the road and people are lining up to eat that shit.
Yeah.
You can go look, 2016 article, DNA has been found in McDonald's food in China. You can go look it up.
Because nobody wants to do any.
It's an actual article. It's real.
You know what? People are always putting out about how many cows it takes to make that many hamburgers. And it's like people they don't want to do the math. I mean, I don't want to do any math.
Well,
but
who wanted to do the math to find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Nobody did. We just wanted to get to it.
That's right.
I'm like, lick, crunch.
But now's the time. We got to figure shit out. This is not the time to be freaking lame brain.
Right? You can't just go straight to the middle.
Sheepdog, you frozen?
There's no sound.
Okay.
So Thomas Massey lost. And in no way am I surprised, not the least bit. I'm not shocked, not at all, that he lost. Did we really think that the same people who rape children, the same people who sex traffic children, the same people who brought our nation to $40 trillion in debt, who openly rob us every single day right in front of our fucking face, the same people who openly bow to Satan, who love to murder thousands of children in the Middle East, did we really think that these kinds of people would play fair politics? Really? I mean, let's be honest here. We have numerous examples of these people doing the complete opposite of playing fair politics. Look what they did to JFK. Look what they did to Charlie Kirk. Look what they did on 9/11. Look at Jeffrey Epstein. Not one person has gone to jail. Not one. Do you really think that these people give a fuck that you know that they rape children? Do you think they really care that you're aware that they're robbing your money? Do you think they give a shit that you're offended by them bowing to Satan, or that you're offended by them murdering children in the Middle East in the thousands? Clearly, obviously, they don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? What is the American people going to do about it? What are you going to do? They have all the power. Who's going to oppose them? Who's going to confront them? Who's going to stop them? Who's going to do what? Clearly, they can do whatever they want. They can rape this kid, kill that kid, take this amount of money. What are you going to do about it? Okay, please think about this, because this is a big fucking problem. They can rig whatever they want. The whole fucking system is rigged. The whole fucking thing is rotten to the core. This is Satan we're dealing with. You understand that? The devil.
Right. Now, let me pull up who funded. The Epstein class funded special ed's campaign. And it was so good that it had people that wanted the Epstein files released all of a sudden vote against having them released. That's how powerful this my brainwashing arm of the military industrial complex, Mockingbird Media, Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, you name it. But that's how powerful it is. It could have literally people that stood for something last year flip and go against everything they said they stood for last year. Before. Paul Singer, he's a billionaire donor who has made his personal mission to further the LGBTQ agenda for his sons, because his son turned gay. So Singer donated millions to causes that work to force churches and Christians to hire homosexuals. And MAGA ran out and voted for this guy. You don't like transgenders in sports, but you vote for people funded by people that had
Because-
pedophiles dancing for children in your church.
Don't look into them. If Trump endorses them, then it's good.
Trump's whole administration is rainbow flag warriors.
Yeah.
Playing Christians and Jews. You know how many undercover bisexual men and women are in that? Even transgender is in his administration. Everything MAGA said they stood against. Y'all worried about, they worried about transgender in sports for 4 years. And there was, I looked it up, there was only 8 people that were transgenders in sports and college sports out of 600,000 athletes.
And there is really an upcoming Supreme Court case for that.
So this guy right here spent millions to unseat Thomas Massie, right? He donated to hire Christian churches and Christians to hire homosexuals, and now it's trying to bring this freak's values to Kentucky. Paul Singer and his gang of weirdos are trying to buy your congressional seat, which they did. So say no to the freaks on May 19th. Vote Thomas Massie. It didn't matter. They dropped off 10,000, 11,000 ballots. Right, put $32 million into the campaign. Brainwashed grandma and grandpa into going voting against their own morals. Like you wanted to remove Thomas Massie because he turned on Trump, and you're not worried about the kids. You're more worried about Trump being. You're more worried about people being loyal to Trump.
Everything
wow.
He said he was going to do hasn't been done.
Kids being raped, kids being trafficked, and you're worried about people being loyal to Trump, who said he was going to go after those people, and he didn't. He's actually the one that's holding it up.
Yeah.
So are you loyal to Trump, or are you loyal to these children?
Are you and to the people?
To the people. It's yourself.
We're all being affected by all this crap.
Trump, right. So, gay rights activist Paul Singer funded your Republican campaign in Kentucky, small town Kentucky, and nobody said nothing. They went out and voted because Trump endorsed him. That's crazy. That's insane. They eat kids and nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
So.
And like you said, they're like, what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it?
It's kind of like they're egging us on, right? Mm-hmm. But they want us to go about it.
They want you to do it violently.
Violent way, so that they can justify what they want to do next.
They can put you in those those camps that they have set up for that they told you for the immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
That's for us.
If you get
once you get out of hand, when they psyop you into oblivion and you can't control yourself and you act on whatever your triggers are, once you start reacting on that, they got something for you.
And you know how people said military is the only way? Well, guess what? Military cannot do anything unless the president commands them to, unless there was an attack on the people. Right?
You don't see this as an attack?
No.
No, I would like a where we're just
9/11
genocide type thing.
Like what happened?
Yeah.
They don't have a PSYOP department, like a PSYOP conspiracy theorist department. Like, yeah, this one's true. This one's true. This one's true. Son of a bitch, we got to do something. Like,
but the IDF is committing genocide in Palestine right now.
No, now if we were under the Rome Agreement, which Bush took us out of, then international courts could get involved, but they can't because we're not in the Rome Agreement. So unless something bad happened here, then maybe other countries could intervene like we have done with other countries, or said we were. Yeah. But yeah, they cannot do anything.
I would think that any of these laws and rules and all that goes out the window when you find out people are eating kids, having sex with babies. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you've got to go by man's law. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
They're above the law.
Well, see, just like the
when you got billions of dollars, you can get your way out of anything, is what we're being shown.
Right. Yeah,
see,
that's exactly it.
I'm just not big enough. I want to be turned into the Hulk.
I mean, Trump's showing you they can pay for pardons.
Yeah. Yep. You pay Trump $1 million and need somebody pardon, throw him $1 million, man.
So the justice is based on if you have the money to pay.
Right. Pay to play, baby.
like
Ain't nothing
George
changed. You
Carlin
thought
said, they have everything in their pockets. The judges in their pockets, the lawyers. Do you have
Yeah.
you can get away with murder?
why do you think they want billions of dollars? It's not because they got a spending habit. It's for power and control.
Yes.
That's the thing. They've got it
It's
all
tr-
the way down, corrupted into everything, like a
Yes.
freaking snake. It's like an octopus. It's everywhere. That's why these people have got to prove to us that they're not a part of it. Like you're all involved. As far as I'm concerned, you've got to prove that you're innocent at this point because they're all complicit at the very least.
Oh yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
even if one person, like if Thomas Massey is good, which everyone I'm not sure, but that's just one person. That wouldn't even do
Yeah.
anything.
That's 1 out of 500
Yeah.
parasites. Right. All the people don't know their true power. That's the issue.
So the way the system is now, if you got anybody good in there that could actually make a difference, mhm. So there's something the one guy said we need like 500 Thomas Masseys, and I believe that.
No, you need 330 million.
Well, I mean, people that are willing to take positions you can unseat these people.
Well, there's people willing to take positions.
You can unseat them and replace them.
It's just nobody wants to go by the Constitution and things that keep people within their limits. They keep them. They want to go always operate on or dance the fine line between constitutional and unconstitutional. Look at Pete Hegseth going and doing the campaigning for a pedophile. Ain't that sick? The Department of War if there's a war overseas, they sure aren't acting like it. They're funneling more money to their pockets, and they're saying they're at war, and Trump keeps kicking the can, and every Sunday he's manipulating the markets. They're running off with the gold. They're running off with the money, right? They're getting their money and they're running. Like, we'll go more into that. The most corrupt administration in American history, Donald Trump, with stealing billions of dollars here recently. And guess what? He can do it because someone else is doing it for him. However, he's the president. It's still an issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's still robbery. Yeah, Trump's not making the trades himself, but somebody, while he's in office, he's telling somebody to make the trades for him because he's on point with every trade. And he's not someone that's ever traded like that. He didn't make his money like that, but he's showing the world right now. He's showing all of them to everyone's face of what they've been doing for decades.
Oh yeah.
And we keep ignoring it because it's Trump, and he's trying to show you, I'm doing it in your face. This is how it's done. Even though I'm sitting president, all I need is for somebody to handle my finances while I'm the president. However, he can still tell whoever it is that's making the trades for him to make those trades. He's
But if
not
Pelosi does it, everybody,
all hell breaks
Oh, I
loose.
know.
yeah.
All hell, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that great? That's the hypocrisy of both sides.
Yeah,
It's really good.
This is stuff I've been against all my
They
life.
say they stand for something, but then when the other side does it, or when your side does it, they overlook it.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
how
fucking
people
disgusting.
can do that. Ah.
They do it. That's why we're in this mess. That's why we're struggling with people online, people in
And
the.
that's why this isn't
'Cause
ending. This
they-
will keep going.
You think that Trump's not doing nothing? You're not even looking at your own side. You're not even looking. If you identify as a Republican or Democrat today in today's environment, you still have work to do.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. You got to stop identifying with all these different labels. That's not you.
The least amount of labels that you put on yourself, like I don't want to check in the boxes anymore, 20 to 30, 34. I don't want to check any of that. I don't want to check white, black. I don't want to check any of them. Like no boxes, no gangs, no. You guys are my only group. Like you're it.
But, they didn't even have parties when the government was formed. There was no parties. There was no left or right. Right? They just had Congress, and then they had people that ran within their town based on what their principles or whatever. There was no left and right party until later.
Yeah, because they did it. They brought it
Well,
up.
a house divided cannot stand.
That's right. And they divided the house.
And they divided and they divided us out here, but they're united up there.
Exactly.
They just put on the illusion that they're divided. But
It's
then when you look at
WWE wrestling.
that's it.
Mhm.
That's it. And then when you look at the Democrat side, they just lost 111 seats too due to APAC. So it's not, this isn't a Republican thing. This isn't a Democrat thing. This is a foreign country interfering in our elections and funding. Well, I mean, United States APAC owns the United States. That's a corporation. It's a business. It's not a country. That first thing you got to realize. That's why when you say occupied, captured, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's been like that.
It's
We
been
got
like that
infiltrated within.
since at least World War II. Since 1917, we can go back to 1913.
So that's the two
Right.
things that got me was the kids and the Act of 1871.
And the property tax is what they have been using to fund Occupy Palestine with since World War II, unconstitutionally, right? Unconstitutionally robbing your estate to fund them. And every one of them, they have a seat in every office of those representatives, the House of Representatives. They have a
And
seat there. They're
they'll take your house. They'll take your
Israeli
house.
handlers.
If you're not paying into the pot, they'll take your house from you.
So they have
These guys. I don't know how this went on. It's the TV. It's the flaming TV.
no, it's not the TV.
Yeah, it is.
You
It's
need
the
to be
TV and the
careful who you're
bus.
following.
No,
Because if you're following people that aren't educating, then there's something wrong.
Yeah,
right.
it's the blasted TV when they started the TV and the radio when they started that up, and people thought they were getting real information. I mean, how the hell would they know a bunch of villains were going to capture the whole country?
Right.
Like, who does that? Who goes out? Oh, you know what? I guess we know now. The guys that were ejected from 109 countries, is it?
They got positions within dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's gross.
Yeah. So they've been
You know those heads are put on two different bodies.
Right.
You know that's not the truth. She's like, I thought you were bringing
what are you
truth.
laughing at? I'm like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, I didn't get it. And then I was looked up at the TV and I'm like, oh, that. Right. So APAC owns the United States. That's what you're seeing. Who are the field soldiers assigned by the corporate operatives of the Caesarea Mafia to rob the people's equity of their property via the Roman tax? Is it property taxes? Property taxes is what they've been using. Right? Look at San Marcos, Texas. They did an audit and found out they were sending millions of dollars to Israel from their little county in Texas. And most of it's designed to go to the operations of what agreement with the Roman order? It starts with a B. Balfour Declaration. They called it an artificial. So they created an artificiality under a name of a religion of people claiming to be somebody they are not. Those that call themselves Jews that they are not. The synagogue of Satan. Right? So that's where the money goes. Every year. That's why every prater for the United States Corporation Company always mentions them in their support when they're inaugurated, because that's who actually got them in there. That's who owns the corporation, APAC. Their administration and instrumentality is called the Federal Reserve Bank. So people don't tie that to the Rothschilds in their minds, right? Do they? They don't tie that to the United States Corporation Company, do they? They don't tie that to Unum Sanctum, do they? They don't tie that to Jekyll Island, do they? They don't tie that to the alloidical titles and the Aboriginal titles and mortgages and deeds, which we can go to 1913. And then the extraction from the people in 1917, which is the property tax. And that tax assessment offices in all jurisdictions of the United States. They have tax assessment. So, which is total fraud. That's what is breaking the system right now. Spanish flu 1917, war powers tax 1917.
Yeah, all these things.
The
Right,
property
live more
tax,
and more.
right. So the property tax is what they have been using to fund Occupy Palestine since World War II, unconstitutionally robbing your estate to fund them, and every one of them have a seat in every office of those representatives that represent them AIPAC, not you. It's called the shadow government. Some call that group AIPAC. That's who really runs it. AIPAC owns the corporation of the United States, which is not a country, it's a corporation. That's all I got to say about that. And boom, this is how we send them billions, they take the money and then send it to AIPAC. AIPAC sends it to the congressmen and women on the left and the right, and then they vote. U.S. Congress vote. And then when they vote to send 3.8 billion to top, and they keep doing that loop. So once the AIPAC gets them in there, they vote to keep sending money to Israel. AIPAC gets them in, they vote to send money to Israel. The AIPAC gets them in, they vote to see money. And this has been happening for years, decades. And nobody said anything because of the brainwashing through the 501c3 false prophets that have been profiting off your grandma and great-grandmas, taking 10% of your money.
They follow a script.
They follow a script given to them by Israel.
Right.
The synagogue of Satan has control over your churches, especially if you got one of these flags flying out front, like we got one.
And they're playing out the script.
That's it. And they're playing out the script
more than once.
via the scripture. They use the church to justify the wars that they go through via the military industrial complex, the Pentagon. They work hand in hand. They tell you that they're fulfilling prophecy by bombing children in Iran. Jesus is going to return as soon as we destroy everyone in the Middle East and take over Cuba and Israel and Ukraine and whatever country. Greenland.
I don't think I'd want to see Jesus after I bombed everybody and
No.
shit. I'd be like, oh shit, he's coming tomorrow.
Right.
You don't learn, does you?
Love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah.
No, I like the Jesus at the flipping tables and pulling people up by the throat, calling them hypocrites, and doing it all with love.
Yeah, that's all he did. He just called them out.
Yeah.
That's what
I got no problem. I took on two sets of bullies the other day when I went out. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yep. So Massey's got 7 months left in Congress. You know he's not going to leave quietly. So 7 months. They must have really thought that special ed was going to get in there like tomorrow. No, he's got to wait 7 months. A lot can happen between now and then. Special ed.
Yeah.
7 months. Hell, we can be in a full pandemic in 24 hours.
We'll see what he does.
I think they already got him his jacket, his Letterman's jacket with the Star of David on it. All right. Yeah, they already got him it. They got him his jacket. His office is ready for special ed. All right. Love and light. Thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Good night, everyone. Thank y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Keep raising hell.
Yes.
Still the voice is soft, their hunger unnamed. But the truth breaks through the painted lies. Human shadows rising as the old world dies.
The streets are quiet, but the fear is loud. A stolen earth beneath an alien shroud. In the dark, a spark begins. A whisper goes beneath our skin.
We rise as one.
This is the final battle, where the broken learn to stand. Every faith in every color.
Raise your voice.
Let freedom echo. Tonight we take our future back again.
The people stand together from every city.
From every city, every shore. From every creed we stood before. No single banner led the way. Just hearts that refuse to fade away. Across all
and they're wearing borrowed skin.
The ones who look like us but aren't our kin.
Cold reflections in familiar eyes.
Perfect mask built out of lies. They slip away into the smoke, leaving echoes of the trust they broke.
The war is won, the night pushed back. Their empire shattered in humanity's track. A signal rises through the sky,
calling something watching from on high.
we've claimed our victory.
The darkness left behind, yet something stirs
Beyond the line,
This is the final battle.
but the story's just begun.
We survived the chains and shadow. Now we rise as one.
Let the new
Dawn shine like thunder. Let the old world fade away. We are the light they couldn't smother, and we live to fight another day. Another Yes, stop speaking. They say you can't wake anybody now. Too many blinders pulling people down. But every day the cracks begin to show, and deeper truths are rising from below. People feel it in the air they breathe. Something shifting underneath the streets. Questions growing louder every day, while the headlines try to look away. No, this isn't fear we're bringing to the light. It's love enough to warm before the night. If I stay silent while the storm rolls through, then what kind of heart would I be showing you? We can't stop speaking, we can't look away. Too many signs are rising every day. The world keeps changing faster than we knew, and truth keeps breaking through the view that same division. This is care enough to try to help each other see beyond the lies. Awareness is the flame we carry through, because real love tells the truth. Massive towers humming day and night, data centers glowing out of sight. Machines learning every move we make, tracking every breath and every wake. Power brokers buying up the land, APAC taking seats with hidden hands. Money moving faster than the law, while the people stand in shock and awe. Digital chains wrapped in shiny gold, trading freedom just to feel control. They build the systems higher every day, while slowly pushing human hearts away. But truth survives inside the ones who see, the few who still believe humanity. And even if they mock us when we speak, a seed of doubt is planted every week. We can't stop speaking, we can't look away. Too many signs are rising every day. The world keeps changing faster than we knew, and truth keeps breaking through the view of the same division. This is care enough to try to help each other see beyond the lies. Awareness is the flame we carry through, because real love tells the truth. Now I won't hate the ones who disagree, 'cause once I walked to sleep so easily, but now the veil is tearing thread by thread, and people finally question what they're fed. The future's hanging somewhere in between human souls and cold machine regimes. But if enough of us refuse to kneel, then maybe something human